Hey everyone, James Chen here. Just letting you guys know what this video is. It's been a podcast that myself and Olaf have been doing for basically the past 7 weeks with each of the new KOF reveal trailers. I haven't uploaded these to YouTube before. It's a podcast where we just talk about we analyze the new character reveal trailer and then also talk all about SNK stuff and ramble on and deviate into all sorts of crazy things. So this is the 7th episode. The 7th character was just revealed, but I do have the previous 6 episodes also here on the hard drive. If it is something that you're interested in seeing and seeing the kind of analysis we have on the previous trailers and talking about KOF lore and all sorts of cool things like that, let me know and I can start uploading them all one by one, the older episodes, just to kind of play catch up little by little. And again, this is not something that this is mostly just discussion and talk, so outside of us going through the video itself, you can actually just kind of leave this on in the background as a listen, as a podcast as well, until we refer to graphics and stuff like that. But, you know, just have something on in the background while you listen and hang out and learn all about King of Fighters lore and SNK lore and any other random stuff we'd like to talk about. So again, let me know in the comments below if this is something you'd like to see the past episodes of.
Sometimes.
Hey, shout outs to Tempest Rob. I just saw that, so definitely want to
Tempest Rob.
Definitely want to jump in here and say thank you to him.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
If anybody else is here in the channel, is in the channel, if you need any sort of photography work, Tempest Rob is your man. Even if it's in game too. You saw the stuff that he did for like the Overwatch League, right? That he would take the replays of the games and actually do photography in the game itself, which was amazing.
Back in the day, we called that machinima.
Oh man.
Speaking of dead businesses.
Oh, don't do that to machinima.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not sure I'm gonna be over the fries one for a while. I haven't even shopped at a fries in years, and I'm still like, dang.
Yeah, there's not a lot of streams out there for SNK. Uh-oh.
Boy.
Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna start this here. And yeah, cat butts on stream right away, so...
Hi, Nathan.
I just had food, so he's like, you see, now he's like, I'm nice, see?
Especially kind.
I'm wonderful, right?
Completely ignoring the fact there's a little tray there with a bean left in it.
Yeah, I know. And then he's also still looking at my tortilla. Oh, yeah. He's still, look at this. Look. Oh, you're trying to be so nice and friendly. You see how he's like trying to pretend to be nice to me and he keeps looking at my tortilla?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not manipulative at all.
No. This cat is like...
And yeah, we definitely should throw that on, since they actually released the full Sacred Treasures team music.
Oh, did they? Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
we're going to have to jam to that, probably.
I also forgot to turn this on, too. There we go.
Perfect. Yeah. We almost didn't have him.
Whoops, I forgot to do one more thing. Jesus Christ. Why?
At least that one was sealed.
I have all these cables here. This is the worst thing about stream stations.
Or being a gamer.
Yeah.
You get that Cthulhu of cables. Oh, yeah, that could be relevant.
Yeah.
Remind people just how pale I can get.
I just noticed that it was really fuzzy because it was dark and it was trying its best.
Oh, it couldn't focus properly?
Well, it was trying its... Oh, my God. It was trying its best to, you know, focus in the dark kind of thing, so...
Like Rain of Fire.
Yeah.
Their eyes are great in the daylight. And even better at night. But dusk, that's the magic hour.
I never saw that movie.
Don't.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't know why, but that whole, like, you fight dragons at dusk because their eyes can't adjust is the one thing that stuck with me out of that whole movie. Like, I think Christian Bale was in it. Whoa, that's a new one on me.
Hey, bad kitty. Bad kitty.
He's like, oh crap.
Yeah, he knows he did something wrong because it made a loud noise. Made a loud noise, and I was like, bad kitty, and he was like, oh crap. So
I got gently booped. It did me no harm. I'm sorry, oh no.
Yeah. So what my ex told me to do is just like lightly tap him on the head just to see like you did something wrong.
So anyways, hi, welcome to the weekly SNK stream.
Cats should fear me, frankly.
You should definitely, where is it? There we go. Follow SNKronize. That's
Yeah, follow just for more SNK talk and info and
really cool shit that I find sometimes.
Man.
Gentlemen. It's good, man.
What is going on? What is going on? Rift. Oh my god, they did a Rift Tracks to the Apple. Oh my god. The Apple is one of the worst movies ever made and has won awards for basically for like the worst movie ever made. So not right now. I'm on streak.
Yeah. I mean, I've got my phone over here in case of emergencies, but mostly also for references later. Because Lord knows there's some names I am not going to remember how to pronounce.
Right.
I mean, I'm still going to botch them because I'm an American. I don't know how to speak other languages, but I'm going to try.
All right. But,
the beautiful... I was not prepared to see that on a screen.
Which one?
Winamp.
Oh. I still use Winamp, yes. I still use Winamp. I don't care.
Man of the people.
It still plays MP3s, and it's still way less intrusive than like Windows Media Player and every other goddamn program on here.
And llama jokes.
I mean, I hope everybody still uses Winamp, because clearly, like I said, it's
you can still use it. It just doesn't have support anymore. But
Winamp Changasm.
Nice. Dude, Winamp is still the best MP3 player. Hang on, let me do something really quick.
good lord, 46 months. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. Drunken Banana has been a long time supporter.
Damn, but coming up on the 4 years, though.
Yeah, I know.
I respect that. That is consistency. Yeah.
Winamp, it still kicks the llama's ass.
Nicely done, Gundam Judy Kai. Oh, thank you, Henry Lucio, as well.
Jesus.
Okay, all right. Let's start off with a bunch of
We are
subs
in
here. Sigma Nuts Cat Butts to all the subscribers out there. Of course, that is my PG version of my famous tweet. As I try to keep some things PG here every once in a while.
I mean, that's still like borderline PG.
Yeah.
It's like almost PG-13.
Right.
Like every time you say it, I just think of Sigma from Mega Man X just sitting there and like with that really shitty grin.
Well, I mean, there he is right there in the chat.
That's a Sigma, but I mean like some of the really like cheesy like X1 through 4.
Oh man. But this last weekend was the second Japanese Roundtable, which is cool because, like I said, I'm super excited that they're going to try to keep doing these things because I think it's really important for the FGC that they keep doing these things.
And it's important for them, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I mean, like just even listening to them talking about potentially trying to do joint things together and everything like that. Like I said, I think the FGC is going to survive more on everyone cooperating as opposed to them fighting each other. So, you know, ironically, the fighting games.
United we stand.
Yeah. Rising tide raises all boats, you know, that thing again.
Rising tackle, anti-ears, ducks, whatever.
What? What about Duck King? What?
Duck King's list of dislikes includes rising tackle, specifically.
Oh, really?
That's it. The only thing on his dislikes is rising tackle.
A rising tackle, anti-airs, all Duck Kings, basically. Okay, that's the... There you go.
Yeah.
But they had a bunch of reveals. They're not going to reveal anything today, but because during the roundtable on Saturday, they already revealed Chizuru, which finished off the Sacred Treasures team. So we were all confused by Joe. Joe was throwing us for a loop, but the guess now is that they wanted to save Chizuru for the round table, so they threw in a Joe to kill the timing a little bit, to tweak the timing.
Yeah, I mean, it works. And I mean, there's the CVS, SVC references, and I think, yeah, like, just them scheduling Chizuru for the round table, I think was just really, slick decision there.
Yeah, and putting Joe the same time that Dan got revealed. I mean, there was just a lot of reasons that it could have worked. And so, basically, we wondering who Joe is going to be, you know.
Yeah, if we're going to have, like, a normal Fatal Fury team, or we're going to have, like, Sidekicks team. And don't forget, though, at the same showing, they also gave us an alternate Cham Cham trailer.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's really funny, like, if you cut all the footage together from both of Cham's trailers, you get, like, a complete understanding of what she does. Because, like, the first one showed that her SSM is a projectile, the second one showed what happens when it hits. But now you put the two together, and you're like, oh, that's...
It's kind of interesting, because I almost feel like she's too adorable in the game, because if you remember in Samurai Showdown 2, like, when she called Tam Tam to do the fireball, she had the angry anime face, right? She was like, and then she scratches you, but maybe she's adorable until Tam Tam gets turned into a monkey, then she gets mad. Maybe that's the lore.
You're talking to someone who thinks Riot Leona is adorable, so I don't think I'm really much of a judge in this one.
Oh, man.
Oh, have you seen the Chinese release for Sam's show and Cham's trailer?
No.
The level of covered up she is actually comical.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently
like
they're doubling down on the levels of censorship, so they're giving all of the scantily clad women, like, basically spandex bodysuits under their costumes.
Oh, Jesus.
So Cham Cham is wearing this, like, burgundy bodysuit under her little tiger skirt.
Huh.
It's jarring.
China.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can dig it up.
I'll put it up. Yeah, just text it to me. No, actually, I'll just find it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you probably could just search Twitter for Cham Cham and it'll appear. Yeah. But it's jarring.
I wonder if I can just find it if I just do Cham.
Oh, nope, there it is. Yeah, literally, you just search Cham Cham in the Twitter, and it's the top post.
Let's see. On Twitter,
yeah, this is YouTube.
Okay. No, I know, but I was just trying to see if I could do it on YouTube as well, so...
Yeah, I've got it on my phone, but it's more purple than burgundy, but even so, it makes it more jarring because it's such high contrast.
What do I look up? Oh, this one?
No.
What do I search for?
I just searched for Cham Cham.
That's what I did.
Try photos? Weird.
An example of how Twitter caters the results. It probably found it for you because you've already watched it and stuff like that. So
okay, so this is, I'm gonna DM it to you. It's easier.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is what's going around, and I mean, obviously, I'm not informed well enough in a lot of international things to make sure that it's 100% accurate and legitimate. But apparently, they found the trailers and pictures for the other characters as well. And apparently it's real. Or it's more than slightly implied.
Oh my god. That's so weird. God. Is it just the picture, or is there an actual video of it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how... I don't know for a fact that this is real and not a parody, but... My goodness.
Just looks...
And this is what's making the rounds right now, and that's what chat was talking about.
I mean, what's tricky about this is that from a developer standpoint, all you have to do is just put a cutoff line on her neck and then just color her skin something, so it's very easy.
But then, like, they have found pictures of Iroha and Mina with the similar effect. And one of them got, like, a black bodysuit. It actually looks kind of slick. But
I mean, to be fair, for Soul Calibur, you know how I do the Soul Cal distancing, some of the players that were joining the stream at first are very religious, and so like you
had to have like a custom Ivy.
Yeah, I had to have like custom characters, and all I did was take a giant black square and paste it on their legs and stuff, and so it just looked like they were wearing bodysuits that way. Although I think the Ivy costume, I did craft a costume for her, is actually pretty sick.
Oh, I've had fun just making sensor bars.
Okay,
just
I've
using
never
the
done
black
that.
rectangle. Just
Oh my god. Okay, I did not do that. I did
I've
not do
definitely
that. I
done
did not
that.
do that. So, oh man. But yeah, Chizuru was revealed.
and I slapped the table.
Was really yes, and scared Jasmine.
Terrified Jasmine, and I
Poor
felt
Jasmine.
terrible, but I was too excited about Chizuru. Poor girl has only literally been in 4 games.
Which is crazy to me because I feel like I've seen her so more often than that. But,
Mid boss in 96, playable 97, playable 98, 03.
and that's it.
And that's it.
Okay. So even 99, 2000, 2001.
She was a striker, but like that's like hidden behind another character, kind of like
Gotcha.
secret striker sort of thing.
Right. Gotcha.
One thing to note is that she got a new voice actor with KOF All Star, and so that's what this voice actor is. So the voice actor from like 98, nope.
Okay. Well,
For those who pay attention to that sort of thing.
let's go ahead and watch the trailer at full speed as we normally do.
Because there's so much to talk about, we have to wait until the second
Yeah,
one.
I mean, we won't be reacting to it because we've seen this before, but we could definitely talk about it.
I might still be reacting. I don't know. Oh, yeah, let's do. Yeah, I might still be reacting because just oof, this trailer.
Here we go. I mean, as soon as you saw the shoes, you got excited, right? So.
Bruh.
Sacred
And they just
treasure!
called it out right away.
Chizuru Kagura.
And again, I mean, I just think she looks really nice. I think she's well done. Get to see what she does with the orbs, but there's gonna be lots of
KOFXV!
explosions and lots of smoke effects.
I mean, I can
Check
speculate
all
as to what's going to be,
expectations.
because the rest of the trailer kind of alludes to it. Yeah. But we'll get to that.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So that's the Chizuru trailer, and the shoes were a dead giveaway.
And they were on the list anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, even as a person who hasn't played a lot of KOF before, but just knowing about the lore, I'm actually just really happy that they turned the Sacred Treasures team into finally an officially in-game
An official
team.
entry team, yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting because now from the lore perspective, I mean, in KOF 14, they just took out Orochi in one of the endings, right?
Yeah, which doesn't really solve anything. It just mitigates the problem ad nauseum.
Right, but does that mean that Orochi is going to make a comeback in this? Like, is Orochi...
So that's kind of what's implied by her being here and making the Sacred Treasures team, is that with everything else that happened with the end of Verse and already seeing Orochi pop up, she's like, oh man, shit is about to hit the fan. Because again, like the Verse had multiple known, established dead characters within it.
Right, okay.
If you have certain matchups in the end of 14 when you fight Verse, he has unique old win quotes. Like his win quotes will match existing characters, including Mizuki from Samurai Showdown against Nakaruru.
Whoa, that's weird. Okay, okay.
He will have one of Ash's win quotes. He will have, like, he has all sorts of win quotes from previously existing characters.
Okay,
I thought there still was one Nests one. I think there is one Nests one.
okay.
But yeah, there's a bunch of characters. And so when Verse died, all these characters are freed from that and get to come back to life.
Right.
So Chizuru is honestly probably like, I swear to God, if Genitz and the New Face team come back and try to revive Orochi again, we're in trouble.
Right. But I mean, but the 14 ending, like, they supposedly took it out for good, or yes or no? Or?
No, it's just
okay.
resealing it basically, and it's actually Iori team is the one that does it. Japan team ending is them kind of getting their shit together, and then Kyo answers a call from Chizuru. Iori is talking to Vice and Mature, and then walking off, and then they all meet at the crater.
Okay. By the way, you know you're so happy that Chizuru is back, right? You know who else is happy about that, right?
A fair amount of people. Oh yeah, this guy. He's like, yeah, the gang's all here.
Here you go. He is definitely one of the happiest people about that. So I'm gonna let Kyo be excited about that. Hell yeah, Chizuru is back. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I think there's an Ignis one. Yeah, there's like Verse has a bunch of those specialized win quotes of existing dead characters.
Jaeger Jack. I mean, technically, all of the endings in KOF are usually canon,
or at least like sort of canon.
Right.
Yeah. Like more or less everything in those endings happen except for like the who actually won the tournament kind of thing. Like that's about it.
Okay.
But like, you know, if they go out and drink, there's a good chance that canonically they just went out and got drunk.
Oh man. Okay, so do you want to watch this in slower motion?
Yeah, let's do it in slow mo, and then we can like I think probably just doing slow mo and stopping at critical points.
Okay.
Because there's a lot to unpack here.
Really? Okay.
Like
all right.
way more.
Okay, well, we've got Chizuru.
And she's like, damn, I am pretty.
And like I said, I mean, like, I'm getting a lot of arguments on my timeline right now about the graphics of this game and but
they are amusingly divisive.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, I think a lot of people are trying to see it as old looking, you know what I mean? I don't think it looks old, and I keep saying, like, I like the fact that they chose a stylized cell shading look to it. I think that's fine, to be honest with you. I mean, the only thing I would say is, like, I've been saying this since the first trailer. It's mostly a lot of the animations, you know, like, I just feel like some of the animations need a little more heft to them, a little more weight. Yeah. I don't expect that to happen, but, you know, for the most part,
also, I love the little SNK building in the background because this is an Osaka stage.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's got all our normal command normals and stuff. Hey, look,
so nothing you needed me to stop yet so far. Okay.
Nah, nothing too crazy yet. She's like, hey, look, I've got my throws.
Yep, her magic throw. Ta-da!
Yeah, exactly. Gaidel is actually within Verse as well. Leona's birth father.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we got the overhead. We got the cancel. So this right here is brand spanking new.
Okay.
So KOF 96, 97, 98, you couldn't super cancel at all. That just doesn't exist in those games.
For special moves, you mean?
Yeah, special into super doesn't exist.
Right.
So the only game that she was in that had super cancels still had the funny KOF restriction of this move is super cancel, but this one isn't.
Oh, okay.
She got one move in all of 03 that was super cancelable.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it was a new move. So her being able to super cancel off of her like clones is brand new.
Okay. But I mean, it's standard to what we've seen in the game so far.
Yeah. Now everyone can do everything. Like, okay, so leave it there. Mm-hmm. So first off, if you go back, I can't tell which one is her and which one's the clone. But once she does the super, she becomes the clone no matter what.
Right, yeah.
And the super comes from the cloned one, which is surprising.
What do you mean? Oh, the super in the game.
Yeah, and when you super cancel, right here it's coming off of the clone.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah. It's coming from the forward one, right.
Yeah.
The forward one is attacking.
Which I think is way more intimidating. Like, the fact that it's an option one way or another is scary.
I wonder if she can choose which one. Like, because if she has the ability to throw the fireball and be whichever one, I wonder if she super cancels it. Does she stay as the one?
Yeah, does she stay the original or is it always the front one? And that's huge. 99 you could super cancel in counter mode only, and the same applied to 2000. 2001 was the first one to let you just do it. It still cost you a bar and it was still move restricted.
All right. Wait, you're saying... Because when she throws the fireball, she can determine whether she's the back or the front one,
but
right?
It's committal. So it's down to forward light punch, she's the
clone,
heavy punch, she's the original.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So if she super cancels it, if she did the one where she's the original, does the super come off the original, right?
Yeah,
so
that's the question.
Thing. We don't know.
Is it always the front one, or is it whatever you originally did?
Right, like even if you did it so that it was the original one and you super canceled, does that just change it and say, oh, no, now it's the other one?
Yeah, like a crazy confirm.
But, like, how does that work? So,
yes, Scorch, we're getting to that.
if we throw a fireball with Chizuru in the older games, and let's say she throws the fireball and the forward one is actually her, can you hit that fireball then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So if she throws herself, like if she leaves behind the clone and comes forward and you stick out a button, you can punch her in the face.
You can
basically.
punch either of them at any time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So regardless of which one she is, you can punch either one
Yeah.
of them. Okay.
So, point 2. Kyo is now glowing blue.
Right. Okay.
And it's exactly the same as what we've seen for people doing their level 3 supers, as it were.
Right.
Which makes it one of two things. One, there is still a lot of work in progress because I doubt they'd have both effects be exactly the same. Or two, this confirms that it's a low health thing.
Right, yeah. That you're only able to do those cancels if you have low health. So they just kind of snuck that in here.
Yeah.
Very, very subtly here. Because he's not glowing.
And
Pow,
boom,
he's glowing.
He's glowing, and it's subtle. The other time she does the super, it's a lot more obvious, but you know he's hurting.
Right.
Dude, Maki's mad broken.
So interesting. So yeah, so the glowing blue might just be low health. That almost kind of confirms that it's a low health and not some sort of max mode kind of thing.
And with that in mind, I think they're playing with our emotions. I don't think this move seals anymore. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't think
So that
this move
super
seals.
used to seal.
Locks out all of your special moves and supers.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
In the hands of a player, Maki would be worse. In the hands of the AI, Magaki's worse. But Maki's mad broken.
I mean, technically, anything is terrible in the hands of the AI, right? I mean, you've seen those bots.
Magaki is mad broken.
You've seen those broken robots that they program for in Street Fighter V and stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, Colleen would be the best character in the game if people were,
Right.
Yeah, no. So Magaki was a complete bullet hell boss.
Okay,
Like, you could
gotcha.
seriously hear Toho music when you were fighting him. It was bullshit. Maki is literally like Guilty Gear Gold mode version of Chizuru.
Gotcha.
Like, so dumb.
Okay. So that was just what, a target combo or one of her chain combos here.
Yeah, just like
see.
C, forward, yeah.
And then forward, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so that's actually a quarter circle forward light punch.
Oh, that
So
was
that's a
okay,
knockdown
okay.
and a reflector.
Gotcha.
So she got back her reflect moves.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crouching.
Tweaked normals. Yep, 2C into 6A into EXDP.
Right. And that was the real version of her.
Which implies that the EX is always the real one,
Okay.
unless they changed her commands entirely.
Now, for the DPs, did that make it hard to punish her to figure out which one it was, basically?
It could be. Yeah, I mean, it's like once she was airborne, you could tell, but by that point, you already better be approaching. One is way safer than the other. One had better startup than the other.
Right. Okay. But that's the EX uppercut.
Yep, and then there's
So
3B.
Has she always had a slide?
Yeah.
So that's 2C, probably into 3B.
Yeah.
Then
Okay, the level 2, what was the lock super?
Right. Pow.
And still gives the blue aura.
Yeah, still gives the blue aura. So I don't is it just the super gives the blue aura or
Who knows?
right?
There's so much confusion. Okay, so this is another big one. So in 97, 98, she can move freely when she does this super. And it creates huge
That's
levels
right.
of nonsense.
Yeah, that's right. Because it would hit, and then you could
And
jump.
you start
and
running after it and jump over and play
Right,
high-low
yeah,
game,
yeah,
and she
yeah.
just turned herself into a Marvel team.
Right.
In 03, she can't move anymore. And this one, they showed her doing the level 2, and she's not moving. And
Yeah.
again, that is it because they don't want us to know how dumb it is, or is it they're letting us know that she can't move again, like in 03?
Right. Now the screen shake at high speed, I don't think is a problem.
At low speed, it's a little gross.
At this speed here, it's a little gross. So if I did, let me see.
Yeah. You turn it up to normal speed, it's not so bad. But also, that is a hell of a lot faster than any previous version. Like, the travel speed is like twice as high.
Right, but I mean, if she can't move, that's probably fair, right? So,
Well, I mean, if she can't move, that's better, actually. Because then she's at least making you block to full screen.
right, okay. At least we can assume that. Like, what if she like does it and you're blocking and she just goes through you or something? But
That'd be bad
probably
news bears.
not. Yeah. So here we go.
So there's the EX running upper into bonk.
Right.
Oh no, I'm taking it back. No,
That's
so
the fireball.
That's just the fireball.
That's
again.
the fireball
so
reflect.
That means
okay.
the EX launcher just has like no recovery time. And
well,
again,
are you sure that's not just the way EX reflector works?
no, it's the EX run, and then she stops flashing and then does reflect.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Which again shows that the EX version, she's always the one in front.
Right. Yeah, but again,
So far.
glowing yellow when she does the EX, basically. See, not
Yeah.
now glowing yellow.
Glowing
Throws us out,
yellow,
launch.
already
no more,
recovered.
Yeah, no more glowing.
Yep, and you can actually see her re-enter her neutral stance.
Yeah, There you go. Poof. And then this is the ground bounce here, right? So this is
Yeah,
the
so
EX.
this is the actual follow-up.
Right.
Bonk.
So what's the difference between this and the launcher? Are those two different versions of the same move, or?
I mean, depending on your definition. Like, it's literally, most of the time, it's like half circle back punch and half circle back kick or something like that.
Okay.
Where they're, like, the thing is, it's much like you see in a lot of other games where it's like the first half of the move, you can't tell the difference.
Right.
You're just going to block and see which
yeah.
one they did.
Okay.
And it's one of the things that makes a good Chizuru hard to fight, is knowing what move she's doing when and how you can handle it.
Right, so
But yeah, that ground bounce.
clearly sets up more. They just didn't show it here because
Yeah.
she's already free right there. She's like, time to juggle, right?
Yeah.
And Kyo is actually just really excited, right? Look at him, he's just like, yay!
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as Cham Cham's East End, right?
Oh, man.
But yeah, like, that is a lot of time. You can pretty much do anything she has in her entire
Right.
move list at that point.
And then this is the final sequence here, right? So
Yeah, but again, just a simple combo, like close D, forward A,
here's the level 2.
into level 2, what was the lock super. Boom, he's blue.
Right, okay.
And so, again, I'm wondering if they're messing with us, and again, it's the low health thing, because I'm betting this super will actually seal.
But it's weird because they always glow blue every single time she hits with that single super.
I think it's misdirection.
Yeah, I think it might be because I mean they also did that with like the little Dan fight, remember? And they made Dan do jump and strong, and it was a counter hit, and it looked like it was a knockdown. But it was
I
just,
definitely thought he was getting that jumping target combo.
yeah,
like some of
but
the other
it's
characters.
just jumping medium punch of his knocks down, and the only other time that counter hit actually knocked down was off of the wall jump, which so there's a lot of little misdirections there.
Also,
so-
real quick, take note, she has 8 of those green orbs.
Yes.
That's important.
Okay. Pow, right here. So here we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And
6,
he's
7,
still
8.
blue as fuck.
Yeah, and there's 8 orbs circling around him. Here.
And then the super ends, and she's like, I'm kind of awesome.
Right. And there's that camera blur effect again, which is really nice. So there you go.
Like, I know things. I'm just
professional
smart. No, I'm just paying attention. Like, here's the thing. All the Hakishu are probably alive. Most of them probably will not be, like, suddenly coming into the game again.
What's the Hakushu?
The 8 leaders of the Orochi clan.
Okay.
Like, don't be surprised if, like, Vice and Mature don't come back because reasons. You know? I won't be surprised if Genitz does not come back. I wouldn't mind it, but I won't be surprised if he doesn't come back as a playable character.
Okay. I just thought the orbs were like a reference to the beads of, no.
No.
I'm kidding.
Swear to God.
What's the guy's name in Samurai Showdown again? The guy who fights you with the beads? The big...
Oh, it's Nicotine. The other
Yeah.
Gyra.
Gyra, that's what I thought it was.
The prayer beads.
I thought it was a reference to Gyra's prayer beads. No, I'm kidding.
No, but it's still referential. The fact that she has the 8 of those is actually still very important.
I already joked about Kim's pants last time.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I hope they apply like boob physics to his pants, and so they just like flop everywhere and go like DOA physics. Like
Honestly, I
that's what
like that answer. The character in Sam Show with the prayer beads, Tasty Steve.
He would actually
I'm
be
bored.
he would come in, make some noise.
the best grappler character in the games. He just gets your arm, just shakes
Yeah.
you.
Actually, his super would be, you know how like that one super where, you know, in which game was it where the girl like hits you with the heart and it's like she makes out with her boyfriend
man.
and you explode, right?
Kisara.
Right. So Tasty C super was like he would hit you with something and then hold on to your arm and footage of a fight of Tekken would show up and like he would see it in like some crazy slow motion. He would be like, "Oh my god!" and the guy gets shaken and all of his energy goes away. Aggressors of Dark Combat.
Or she was also in Battle Coliseum.
Oh, was she?
Yep.
Oh my god. Oh man. That'd be hilarious, dude. I know some of my old school fighting game stuff, dude.
Well, I mean, it did get a re-release a couple years ago, so I think that helps a little bit.
Ooh, and now.
Oh yeah, no. The Tasty Steve freezes the game. Sajam comes in, and then you get like hit with delayed fucking netcode, and suddenly you're just fighting underwater as Steve's playing normally.
Dude, I always thought that was one of the coolest things is when what was it? A Valentine and Skullgirls had.
God,
the
I love that character.
The lag.
Yeah, the lag poison.
Yeah, the lag poison was hilarious. I always came up with all these ways to hit that with you and then do a high-low mix-up and make it impossible to react, basically. Sajam would eat hot dogs. His super would be he would hit you and then he'd start explaining. So this combo I'm about to do to you is like a sandwich.
As long as he's got like a mouthful of food.
Yeah. See, when he hits you, he's like, this combo I'm about to do to you is like a sandwich. It's got the starter and it's got the finisher and then there's all the meat and stuff in between. And you have to layer the meat. Oh, man. God.
So anyways, Chizuru trailer is awesome.
Yeah. So there you go. Anything else you wanted to point out about this trailer or anything like that?
I mean, we covered the super cancel being completely batshit and new.
Right.
And the theory crafting on if her move actually seals you anymore and if it's just the low health thing.
Like I said, I'm just really glad to see this team actually as a team now. And it really does have a lot of implications on the lore.
Okay, her new shoes are fucking slick. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you just like look at her design overall, she's got a little bit of touch-up. She's still definitely the same character overall.
Right.
But she's got these little touches. Like, her new belt is way more fashionable.
Yeah, and something that's needs to be pointed out here, but unfortunately Kyo is trying to ruin everything right here. Of course, is the Sacred Treasures logo over here, right? Because that's obviously Kyo's sun and the moon. And is this always? Does she always have a bird symbol?
Or like a crane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, probably, but you have to like really dig.
Right. But I mean, I just think it's a really nicely done little logo.
Yeah.
I actually really like that logo. So it's cool.
So the thing is, like, her name can be like translated a bunch of different ways. So I'm not sure who's actually like on point. Which might be even like her name is even a pun for all I know. But yeah, it's like 1,000 cranes or something like that.
Okay.
Is like one way to translate her name.
Right.
Something to that effect.
God, she just looks like she doesn't care, dude. She looks like she doesn't.
She is just sick of all your shit. I mean, if you had to babysit Kioniora, you would be too.
Stop fighting, you two. Who was the one who drew that picture of Benny Maru with his team in the stroller and Chizuru?
What is his name? Because he's absolutely amazing, and you love him, and I love him, and we should just totally just plug him at this point. Give me a moment.
I mean, it's just a really nice, like, I mean, just the way that the eyes look and everything like that, really nicely done.
Yeah, because it's the same guy who's been doing the like KOF97 in 1 minute. Oh. Tenzong. Yeah, Tenzong.
Tenzong 830.
Yeah, just go follow him on YouTube.
Okay. Oops, that's not.
But yeah, if you want to like bring up the picture, that's fine too.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, it should be
this guy here.
Yeah. Oh, you hadn't seen the new Chad and Thad?
Oh,
yeah,
God.
It's pretty good. But yeah, the babysitting one is just
right there, yeah.
fantastic.
Let me do this real quick. Yeah, that's the babysitting picture. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, so go follow Tanzong.
Tanzong 830.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Go watch all of the KOFs in under a minute because they're fucking hilarious and most of the time surprisingly accurate for what he's trying to convey. Like, you're like, yeah, that actually about sums it up.
Oh man.
You know what?
I just like so like the funny thing is that Shune and what's his name? Meiten-kun. They're so adorable babies. But then look at Kyo and Iori.
Like
they're like
each other.
mad and they're like fighting each other here, which is hilarious. Oh my god. Of course. Sorry, I'm gonna be eating a tortilla while we're on stream over here.
Little tortilla boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be eating a tortilla because tortillas are delicious. Okay.
So yeah. Tanzong's great, and his comics and cartoons are funny, and Chizuru's awesome. Mm-hmm. And this stage is awesome, actually.
Oh yeah,
I really like this stage.
I wanted to examine the stage a little bit more, actually.
So it's a new Osaka stage, which is part of why you can see the SNK building in the background. But you can also read the logos, like Osaka Station is closed for expansion.
So this is a real train station in Japan, then, basically. Right?
I mean, it would be a real one. Whether any of this has happened or is happening or it looks like anything like that.
Osaka a fictional city?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's where SNK is located.
Oh, okay.
It's like kind of like a suburb of LA, or like, you know, you'd say like Glendale is part of LA, but it's not, kind of thing. You know, that's kind of what Osaka is to Osaka.
A lot of logos in the background.
Yeah, I'm really wondering if like any of those brands are going to come to fruition, because I've been watching them since the game first like was revealed, and I'm like, is there anything to this? And
That's
I have
a
no
weird
idea.
name, Calvin.
Yeah, I don't know if they're tied to anything existing. I don't know.
Oh, it looks like
I'm wondering.
Calvin.
Yeah. But that's a thing. And then we go a little lower, ground level.
Right. And of course, they have those little. I think that's a nice touch. They have those little lights. Oh, those are light. Oh, okay. I thought those are those little mirrors, like looking around the corner mirrors, but those are just lights that
aren't on.
Yeah.
The little green panda that they put the lights on.
I just think it's also funny that everything in the King of Fighters universe has King of Fighters written on it. Like, what is this in the background?
Well, it's because they're officially sanctioned locations. No, like seriously, they're just like, it's understood. Like, hey, we have, we've got the rights to hold the Olympics here. So we're gonna advertise it everywhere.
Yeah, even the cranes is King of Fighters on it, dude. Like,
I'd do it if I owned a crane. I would put the KOF logo on it, especially if KOF was real.
Oh my god.
I mean, have you ever seen the military with their tanks? It's no better.
It just makes me think of the Robot Chicken with the Street Fighter, where they all have the packet and everything like that, Like, you're not supposed to fight E Honda, you're supposed to fight A Honda.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me beating up on this car. Wait a second.
Antonov is at least involved. Hopefully, he can recover some of his finances. Because the first tournament, almost bankrupted him.
Did he not die or something?
Oh, no, he's fine.
Okay.
He's a genuinely good dude. He's one of 2 or 3 people who've ever run a KOF who weren't pieces of shit.
Oh, so Antonov's not a villain then.
Oh no, he's great.
Okay. I thought he was a villain. I just figured whoever ran the tournament was a villain. So.
Nope. So it's been Chizuru, him, and Adelheid are pretty much the only people who have run a tournament with not being a shitbag.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair analog of Antonov to Hercule, Mr. Staten from Dragon Ball.
Dude, there's even KOF graffiti, dude.
Yep. Not even the first time that's happened.
This universe is obsessed with this tournament.
Yeah, again, it's like the Olympics of mixed martial arts. If you really wanted to give it some sort of parallel.
And then here's our taunt. Here.
Honestly, I'm wondering if that train station might be tied to one of the Fatal Fury ones, from Real Bout 1.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, shout out to Forrest.
I never use Nathan's upper emotes. Maybe we could make them into other more useful emotes. Chen logic.
I have thought of that, Forrest. I've thought about changing the giant Nathan emotes and turning them into other things, because I have a lot of other emotes that I actually really wanted to make.
Yeah, actually, so even in 14, they even talk about like the ratings of people watching the KOF on TV. Like,
Nice.
It's a huge thing.
Has Antonov ever fought or no?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he has, right?
yeah. No, he's a playable character, and he's awesome. He's one of the most fun big bodies in like fighting game history. The dude's a character.
I forget, is that dude in the background somebody? He was from one of the...
3-count bout?
Yeah, he was from like a wrestling game, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 20 billion people. Yeah, because there's not that many people on the planet. Yeah, a vast majority of KOF tournaments have that final stadium blow up. Fun fact, every KOF ends on a Tuesday. Who knew?
Is that true?
No, blow up Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Just a really bad joke.
Okay,
Come on.
fair enough. I don't know. I can't tell these days. The lore in these games are always so crazy.
Yeah, I do really want your teammates hanging out in the back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was like just one of the best pieces of flavor.
The question is, if they did that, though, would they have to create like less intensive models of them just for the ones to be in the back?
I mean,
right?
they did that in the old ones.
Was that there?
Yeah, they were actually scaled down a little bit.
But I mean, were they there in 14?
No.
Right.
No,
so
I'm
that's,
talking about the sprites.
Right. Yeah, but sprites, obviously,
Yeah.
you know, it's easy to do. I'm talking about like, is it because
Well,
they can't?
it's crazy
just-
because they had functionality too.
Right, yeah, but they can't just take the full model and throw them in the
Probably
background.
not.
I mean,
I
they
mean-
probably could, but
They probably could, especially if like you minimize the animations used and everything.
right, and especially because they're probably kind of loaded in already. Because I can't
Yeah.
imagine there's a lot of load between the
Yeah.
characters going
Yeah,
down.
it's pretty quick in 14, and like the 14 stages are still pretty elaborate.
Right, but they definitely need the teammates back there again.
Yeah,
Because if they could-
Heroines actually did have the teammate in the back, which was pretty sweet.
I mean, if they could make it in, so yeah, exactly. Like if you're dizzy, you can get them to come out and
Dude,
attack.
if those guys were meant to be placeholder, and like they're actually gonna bring that back, you have no idea how much I would scream like a little kid.
Like, the funniest one was in my 2-hit combo video, Madge actually made the combo where he got the guy dizzy and then had the teammate jump out, and he shook out fast enough to, like, combo off of the teammate. So we did a 2-hit combo off of the teammate jump kicking in. It was pretty brilliant, dude.
God, did they even have 6? There was like neutral, ground shake, you got hit. Oh yeah, and then round 1, round lost, and then like jump
yeah,
in.
I mean, the guy being defeated, basically,
Yeah.
right, just sitting there being sad.
Yeah, the round 1 and round lost ones are great. I mean, I love Mary's because she starts just running in place, hyping herself up for when it's her turn. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that all these trailers are done in solo one-on-one. It makes it a lot easier to determine what some of the stuff was.
Right.
As far as SNK Heroine's Twitter posting again, I pretty much don't think it's relevant. Like, I can't imagine them putting much more into that game as it is. I think it's just kind of a like cute fluke, like, hey, remember we exist. But yeah.
There you go. That's Chizuru.
Dude, I am so fucking on board for this to be a tag game, like make it KOF 11
right.
too.
Yeah. Because I mean, that could also, you know, explain the decision to go with the more cartoon cell shaded, simpler graphics. Because then, if you had them all loaded at once, I mean, in the first roundtable, they already said that the team construction is going to be different and unique.
Oh yeah, no, and like that one got me like, don't do this to me.
Right.
You can't give me that kind of hope.
And they haven't said anything about that since then.
Yeah, no, and I mean that's really what it comes down to is like they have been hiding so much of the mechanics. Like everything that we know about the system mechanics has been coming from this trailers, and it's like we have to rip it out and glean it for ourselves. I mean, especially when they did the Benny level 1 into level 2 into max whatever
Right,
super like.
I mean, I think they like that, but at the same time,
what's
like,
up, man?
but at the same time, oh, what's up, Mike? What is going on, dude? Hope you've been doing well. obviously, things could be better, but you know,
as well as can be expected. Yeah, and I mean the thing is, like, even just saying it's an ambitious KOF, like that could also just mean like we have more than 17 teams on launch, like like there's always a lot of fucking characters in a KOF game.
Yeah, I mean, most ambitious KOF, it sounds like that they're trying to do something different, but I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stuff to talk about on top of that as well from the roundtable, things that they didn't mention.
No, Benny's trailer, he does a level 1 into a level 2 into potentially a level 3 or a level 2 with an asterisk.
Right, yeah.
Like he does his max super. Which at this point we're really convinced that if you're low on health, your max super becomes a level 2 super.
Right. Or there's that whole thing where, hey, if you have a full bar, then the max only costs 2, so you do 1 to 2 to 3, you know what I mean? So,
I can't really imagine it's gonna be something quite like that, but I think almost every character from 14 has a really good chance, but I don't think it's gonna be everyone. I do think they're gonna trim some fat.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if Xanadu doesn't make the cut. Xanadu, I feel, is going to be cursed to be one of the one-off characters.
Right. Who have been the one-off characters so far?
Xanadu, Momoko, Duck King, basically everyone from Mark of the Wolves except Gato.
Right. And, I mean, everybody's been practically in 2 games because of the
Source.
matches, right?
No.
Really?
No, I count dream matches as games. Yeah, no. Basically anyone from Mark of the Wolves except Gato has been a one-off. Duck King was only an 11. Oswald was almost a one-off because he was only an 11 until he was DLC for 14.
Right.
Momoko is only an 11. There's obviously all the boss characters. Lin Lin was in 2 games until 02 UM. Guy Tendo. Anyone from Bariki.
The UX team has actually been in more games than some other characters then.
Yep, with their 2.
Right.
Okay, we don't count Max Impact. Otherwise, yes, Xiaolon.
Okay.
I love Xiaolon, but it's Max Impact. I wouldn't expect it. And then he goes and adds another Max Impact character.
There was delay in the stream. You know how that goes.
Yeah, basically any of the more obscure guest characters. I mean, right now, Nako is a one-off.
Right. That's true, too.
I'm not sure I agree with bringing back Falcons and other characters. Like the alternate costumes.
I still want
And even so, Tizak was still in 2 games, actually.
I still want win quotes from Nakaruru in Samurai Showdown. Just be like, yo, guys, they have these things called cars in the future. Like, people, like, society is so crazy. Oh, man.
I'm trying to think who else was one-off. I know there's at least one other one I'm missing.
Because they did also announce during that thing the Samurai Showdown cross Guilty Gear thing, which came out of nowhere. That was a left field one.
Well, and so the
there.
thing is, they also declared that Guilty Gear 1 is the final character of the season, which then infers that we only have one more character, and I'm calling it as Mizuki.
What do you mean?
I think that the third DLC character is going to be Mizuki.
Which one's Mizuki again?
The female boss that has the wolf jump out of her clothing and shit like that.
Okay, but not Amakusa.
Not Amakusa.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Mizuki.
I know a lot of people want Amakusa back, right?
I do too. But I don't think it's going to be Amakusa.
Okay. Who was the one with the giant sword that he held like backwards?
That he had like the Seth Killian grip.
Yeah. What was his name again?
Zankuro.
Okay. I don't know. Zankuro.
I'm sad that you're the only one who smiled at the Seth Killian grip joke.
Dude, it's such an old school reference now. A lot of
guess.
people probably don't know about the the history of cloth hand, right?
Yeah,
So-
the reverse dragon. I've also heard it called like the Mexican hand cross.
Yeah. And then Dogface said something that would not be able to escape today. So yeah, he was just like,
Damn, are you okay?
dude, it's just like,
Just thinking about things you can't repeat.
dude, because when he said it back then, it was like, so, I mean, the story of the Dogface show, you've seen some of the Dogface show, right?
Yeah, I'm old enough.
Was that me and Derek and Madge were in charge of helping produce this talk show. We had no idea. I'm allergic to non-PC jokes these days.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but
Take a sip of your soda.
But like, we had no idea what we were getting into when we decided to go and help him with this, right? He was going to do a talk show thing. His very first guests were Mike Ross and Gutex. And we just thought it was going to be like a talk show. And then it happened. And like, during the whole entire time we're filming, like all of us we're trying not to just die laughing. And some of the things he says is just, like I said, you can't get away with that stuff anymore these days. And yeah, I just thinking about some of the things that he said and the joke that he made about the cross-handed play, and it's just like...
Yeah, so I mean, someone in the chat said it's really common in Brazil. And a lot of that, I mean, I'm under the impression anyway, is that a lot of that came from the fact that as you got further and further away from like production companies and further from distributors and stuff, you started getting into more like unofficial or slapped together cabs where they'd have the buttons on one side or the other.
Yeah.
And if your local scene just happened to have the stick on the right and the buttons on the left, well, that's what you got used to. And then you start getting more back to the standardized stuff and you can't change back.
Right. That's a different dog face. Oh man, there's actually a dog face emote that's a crime. That is not Victor Ratliff right there. That is a crime, I think. That is not the Victor Ratliff face. We need to go and find a way to change that somehow. Yeah, I didn't know either. Who knew that Dogface was taken up? I'm kind of sad about that. Oh, man. But one of these days, I should just show those again. But I don't know. I'd have to ask Victor's permission.
And probably put up like a disclaimer.
Yeah, this was filmed a long time ago. We don't have the same kind of restrictions that we did back then, so...
Or lack thereof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But...
I remember I was actually having a conversation with one of our friends recently, and she was talking about, like, you know, so I was playing video games in... God, I don't remember when it was, but, blankety-blank kinds of jokes were still prevalent on Xbox Live, and I was like, oh, so 2012. She's like... Oh God, it was. And I was like, was Marvel was out? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, so 2012. She's like, that really was the year. I was like thinking that it was less than 10 years ago.
Right.
Those kinds of like, I'm not going to repeat them jokes were like everywhere and so prevalent that they were bordering on accepted.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to call it as a thing of soft or whatever like that. It's just that we weren't respectable back then. We weren't respectful.
Okay, but... That's not even just us. That's humanity.
Right.
Because it's not like you were going to go play, like, Halo and get a better dialogue. Everything was shittier.
Yeah, I mean, basically, even on commentary, we used to say really terrible things all the time. That was just regular nomenclature, regular vernacular.
Yeah.
Like, I still remember saying things back during the early Marvel days that... Funny enough, now if I even think about saying it, just sounds so horrible. Like I can't
there are some particular four-letter words that just do not get used at all anymore.
Right, exactly.
Like unless you are filing a case, you don't use that word, kind of thing.
Exactly.
And you know, 10 years ago, it was just something you said when someone was getting beat up.
Yep. Exactly.
Like in hindsight, like God.
Yeah, and exactly, just like Doug Helmet says, not being shitty doesn't make anyone soft. You know, that vernacular, that rhetoric needs to go away. It has nothing to do with softness and not softness. It has to do with the fact that we're actually respecting the things that other people go through because we didn't do enough of that a long time ago.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's extra funny because we've always been a community that prided ourselves on being more welcoming to anyone from any background. Unless you were this, or this, and can't put up with this terrible word.
Right.
Like, fucking...
Yeah.
So we've definitely made strides.
Yes. All right. Well, back to this Chizuru trailer here. So this is obviously the Sacred Treasures team, and you started doing more research into the Sacred Treasures, right?
So, you know, I always knew that the Sacred Treasures thing, you know, was really cool, and they have these, like, special items and whatever. And I'm sure, you know, there's a fair amount of you who have been following SNK stuff long enough. You know, you've got Chizuru with the Mirror of Yata. You've got Kusanagi with the Kusanagi sword, and I'm just going to keep it shorthand. And we've got Iori with that pretty little prayer bead. So these items are not just like cool things they made up or whatever, or even not even exclusively just tied to Legends with Orochi. Go ahead, and that slide's perfect because it has just them right there.
There you go.
Yeah, this is the sweet intro to KOF13, which shows them with, you know, each of their respective treasures.
You know what I should probably do is make this a lot easier, is if I just went over here. Let me do something really quick.
Yes. Oh no, I'm going all in. And if you've been following KOF for long enough, then you also might know that 2 of these characters have actually changed their last names from their original family names. Kusanagi is just his, Kyo just stuck with it, everything's fine. But Iori Yagami is from the Yasakani clan, and they ended up changing their last name when they made the pact with Orochi. And Chizuru Kagura is actually the heir to the Yata clan, so her name was originally Chizuru Yata, until Ginitz killed her sister, and she changed her name so she'd be easier to hide.
Okay.
These treasures exist. These are real physical objects in the real world.
Upside down? Or?
Nope. Just the 2 of them are upside down. As you play the cinematic, Kyo actually becomes brighter and actually pops in.
Okay, gotcha.
So these items exist. These are legendary sacred items that are held in high regard in Japan. These are items that are held in Shinto shrines around Japan and are kept under, like, lock and key. And, like, we are only getting to that. We are anyone in the public is not allowed to see them. The only people who get to see them are the highest of high-ranking priests and the emperor himself.
Okay. And this is not even in the game. This is real.
This is literal, like, history.
Right.
This
is actual Japanese lore, right? So
yeah, it's literally only the emperor and the highest of priests. Like, even, like, the next emperor isn't going to see them until he becomes emperor.
Right. Okay.
And if you've been paying attention, 2019 they entered a new period in Japan because they have a new emperor. So the Heisei period ended, and that emperor actually retired, which is not terribly the most common thing in the world. The new emperor took over, started the Reiwa period, and they brought the treasures to his coronation, for lack of a better word. Piggybacking off of what was said by Scorch there, I believe that Scorch said it, there's a lot of speculation on how many of the treasures are their originals right now.
Oh, right. So
I believe it's the Mirror is the only one that's 100% everyone knows confirmed as the original, but the other 2 might actually be replicas. We're not sure if we have the
now,
originals.
how old are these things now?
Hundreds of years plus.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I think it was a report in 1923 was when they first came to light that not all of them may be the originals anymore.
Okay.
But at least one of them still is. Now, legend has it. This is where we get into, like, the not technically history. This is the legend.
Right.
So, back in time immemorial, the sun goddess Amaterasu came down from the heavens. Actually, if you can go to slide 2. So slide 2 here is going to be the most commonly accepted...
Why is this image viewer so much crappier than the original image? Where's the left and right buttons, like, that used to...
Get wrecked.
Jesus Christ, this is...
Why are you trying to beat up my presentation and steal my thunder, man? Come on. So, the sun goddess Amaterasu came down from the heavens and saw that Japan was fucked. And was like, I'm going to bring peace and order and get everything together and, you know, make things better. And through her grandson, which I have notes on because I can't remember names.
There you go.
Ninigi no Mikoto.
So wait, what are these pictures of then?
these are, I guess, mock-ups.
Okay.
These are the accepted representations that if you like want to talk about the items, this is more or less what they are, what they look like.
Okay. But these are obviously not the real
These
things
are not
because
the
you're
real
not
deal,
allowed to
because
see it.
No, we are not going to have
You're not
photos.
allowed to see these things.
So, side note, the bottom right one being the mirror. So the mirror is the what is this fucking? I can't remember. It's the. Somebody help me out here. What's the word for mirror? It's the it's one of the characters. Kagami. So Yata no Kagami. So apparently Yata even translates to like 8-sided, 8 something. That's why it has the 8 points, and that's also part of why it is the Yata mirror, which is why Chizuru had the 8 orbs.
Right.
It's all tying together.
And just as a little reference, that all also comes from Chinese history, because Chinese is where the 8 being the lucky number came from. In fact, if you know a lot about Romance of the Three Kingdoms, a lot of that comes from there, from Zhuge Liang, who had the Bagua.
The cross-pollination coming over is, But I mean, by the same token, I mean, it's how is the sun goddess Amaterasu much different from like Egypt Ra?
Right.
You know. So anyways, the bean is actually the Yasakani Magatama. That's the little like gold or the green like teardrop jewel thing.
Right. What's interesting about that too is that now the arrows don't work. So the arrows don't work if I zoom in on stuff. Oh my god.
Yeah, because now you're on the slide. There you go. Now it might work. There you go.
So like the way they draw the jade over here, almost kind of like as a 9. I've definitely seen that used in logos in a lot of different places.
A lot of anime. I mean, there was the anime like Blue Seed in the 90s, and that had that. Then there's Ikitosen. All the characters have one. Yeah. Which is based on Romance of Three Kingdoms, anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the grandson of Amaterasu wanted to, basically help out and passed on these items to families and to the rest of Japan, save one of them. One of them actually came from another place. Amaterasu's brother, the Susanoo, pulled the fucking sword from Orochi's tail, apparently. And there was a period where Amaterasu hid herself in a cave because she was like, things are bad. Well, what happens when a sun goddess hides in the cave? We don't have sunlight anymore. So Susanoo comes over, brings out the mirror, taunts her out. She looks in the mirror, gives oh crap, gives enough time to like basically drag her out of the cave, square things away with her, gave her these items, passed them down to her family until they eventually came to the first emperor of Japan, Jimmu.
Okay.
And they've been passed down through all emperors since then.
Right. I mean, what's interesting about this whole entire thing is, this is obviously lore that's been very commonly used and pervades throughout a lot of things. Because, I mean, all these names are from, communism.
Oh, Susanoo tricked her to be in the cave. Even better.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
So, I mean, what's interesting about that is it's interesting because just to kind of draw a parallel to this, a lot of people are like, wow, that's kind of cool that this and like, wow, this actually goes through all the different stories. But then like in China, everything is based off Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And then in America, Indiana Jones.
I'm gonna get to that.
Indiana Jones is going after the cup of Christ or the Ark of the Covenant. Like there's all these themes. Like you had all these things that talk about let's go hunt for Noah's Ark or whatever. You know what I mean? Like all the cultures, these kind of things pervade through a lot of the storytelling. So it's just
everything is passed down, and then it permeates into the rest of culture, no matter what.
And that's the thing, because the only reason why I bring this up because it sounds like, oh, that's interesting the way that this really interesting Japanese thing is it's not even a foreign thing. I just kind of want to normalize it a little bit. You know what I mean? So Journey to the West is the same thing.
I'm gonna get there's a little more to that topic too. But yeah, and so. Like you were saying, with the sword being renamed to the grass cutter, the sword was originally known as the Ameno.
It's what Link uses in all of his games.
That's another subject in a moment.
Oh, really? Oh, Jay, you were gonna get to that.
Oh, I've got all this. Okay,
No,
it's not the Master Sword. Okay. But so the sword was originally known as the Ame no Murakumo no Tsurugi, which was the sword of gathering clouds. And it got then renamed to the Kusanagi no Tsurugi, which was the grass-cutting blade. Now, This is the literal translation. Given the fact that Japan also likes a little more like context and implied stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more like cutting the land or something like that. But I don't know. I can't speak to that. But it is a tsurugi, which first off you might know as Makoto's X kick and third strike.
Right. Yeah.
It is not what most people think of when they think of a Japanese sword. It's almost like Japan's equivalent to like a Roman broadsword. Like you look at that fucking thing, that's not normal. So last thing I want to get to on what these items do in like their presentation, which will tie into Legend of Zelda. Each of the 3 items represents a quality that any leader should have. And it's, it's a good thing you want to pass that down through your emperors from godhood, So the sword represents valor.
Okay.
The mirror represents wisdom. And the Magatama represents benevolence.
Okay.
And you can see this permeate through all sorts of crazy shit. It also makes sense when you think about Kyo and Chizuru with valor and wisdom. Benevolence, Iori and his family fucked that up. Don't worry about it. But if you think about it through the...
They just changed it to Malevis.
or just raw power.
Right, yeah.
And you think about those themes. And you can see those themes permeate through all sorts of shit. There are many, many games and many, many topics that have all talked about what those lead to, but... One thing it's also heavily implied to be based on is the Triforce. The Triforce has been heavily speculated. I don't think it's ever actually been confirmed, but I could be wrong. But it's heavily speculated that even the Triforce is based on these treasures.
Right, well, I mean, it's the courage, power, and wisdom, right? The
Exactly.
Triforce of courage.
Courage and valor are basically the same thing.
Right,
And then benevolence, trading for power, like, that kind of makes sense, because also it's
Right.
kind of how you use it.
Right. I mean, it sounds like that's kind of just generally, calling it benevolence, it sounds like there's a lot of power associated with it if it is Iori and the Triforce of power and stuff. So
let's bring up the third slide.
Crystallis.
Exactly. No, Crystallis is amazing, and it's made by SNK. They love this shit.
Yeah, there you go. Iori feeds kittens and hates aggression against defenseless people, so...
Yeah. Iori's secretly a good guy.
And he's also really good at the sexy saxophone
Sexy
as well.
saxophone all day. So with that in mind, those of you who haven't tried to study this, I mean, obviously I'm not someone who speaks Japanese. I'm not like a history and mythology major. I'm just a nerd with the internet and likes going down rabbit holes.
Wait, is Athena and Kenso in Crystallis? I didn't even know.
I think they have like little cameos kind of thing.
That's funny. Okay.
So if all of these names have made, like you've heard these things before and you can't figure out why, or if you're just sitting here like, I like your funny words, Magic Man.
Right.
Here are places you might have heard all of these names before. Like, for instance, Okami is literally based entirely on all of these legends.
Yeah, I mean...
Everything about it.
Because, I mean, you're fighting the Orochi in there.
Susanoo appears,
Yeah,
you have all the different weapons. I mean, even if you just played Ami in Marvel 3, you saw the beads. Like, it's all there. BlazBlue has named literally, like, half of their lore after these same legends. You have the Murakumo units. You have Susanoo is a fucking weapon character.
Actually, now that I think about it, I didn't even realize that, because Ami's weapons are kind of like, there's a sword.
And a mirror.
There's a mirror, and then there's the beads, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, Ami's 3 weapons are based off of the sacred treasures then, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, exactly. They're all there. So again, like, case in point, one of the ones I love is that all of Strider's sword attacks are named after legendary swords. This attack in particular is the Ami no Murakumo, which I'm still probably pronouncing right and butchering, but I'm trying. Which is why I also love trying to get on people for saying Vajra, or for not saying Vajra, saying Vajra.
Oh, it's Vajra?
Vajra, it's like India location, like it's somewhere in like that region.
Okay.
It's one of their legendary weapons. He has Gram. They're all legendary weapons, so of course he's going to have the Ami no Murakumo.
Right.
You have the Mirror of Yata as a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card, because that's funny. I couldn't not bring it up there. And then you even have, while apparently they were slightly renamed, but this is a panel from Naruto, with them throwing the Yasakani, although in that they call them the Yasaka Magatama.
Right.
But
you can
they're
clearly
throwing
see
them those are them beads.
And yeah, I mean, like I said, with Ami, you can see each of the beads look like that on the bead weapon. They all have that look.
Same shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you've never seen them before, that's basically that they kind of look like half of a yin yang symbol, and we're all used to that growing up. So, especially if you're a kid in the 80s and 90s, you couldn't turn around without seeing that freaking symbol.
That symbol got so co-opted by stupid TNC surf design, dude.
Well, and then you remember, what was it? The 3DO had that crappy fighting game Way of the Warrior, where it made one with 3 points, and one of them was blood.
Yeah, I was like, come on, guys, dude, no, man.
But, so anyways, so the last time the treasures were seen in any capacity whatsoever was in a box in 2019, or in their respective boxes, actually. And that's how we know a lot of different things are happening, a lot of changes.
They've never been displayed for
No,
anybody,
absolutely
right?
not. Okay,
Yeah.
so I believe it's, especially the mirror. The mirror is the one that we're all positive is definitely 100% the genuine article. It is kept in the holiest of holy sacred shrines to a point that it's not even like, this is not even a foreigner thing. This is if you are a civilian, you are lucky to get close enough to see the roof of the building from like a few miles away.
Okay.
You cannot get close.
It just makes me think of all like those prisons in Avatar where they were like trapped a bunch of the guys like underground and everything, and like there's like 7,000 people you have to get through in order to even see it. Yeah.
And then so I had this whole structure in my head. So like you were saying is that all cultures do this. Anyone who has a like rich history and series of legends or their religion or whatever go back this far and become so ingrained, this is going to happen. Like, so the 3 sacred treasures, if you wanted to look at it from like an American or like England, you know, if you wanted to like the best way to look at it from a Western parallel would be if every time the Pope, like we got a new Pope, like the previous Pope died or retired, and we had announced a new Pope, we had to bring out the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, and the Spear of Longinus. Like, that's the parallel it is. Especially because, you know what we're not allowed to see either? The Ark of the Covenant. You know, because that is in one little shack behind a fence, and nobody's allowed near it.
And if we see it, our faces melt.
I mean, that's the rumor. I mean...
Rumor? Didn't you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, dude?
Excalibur is slightly different. It's not the same as, like, you know, saying the Vatican and the Holy Grail and stuff. And again, like, the Spear of Longinus is going to do plenty. And that's even assuming that the Vatican has it or not. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, that's just, that's what's so important. It's like, there's so many of these cultural things that just pervade throughout history and bleed into everything that we do. I mean, like, think about Superman. Right? Superman, there's always this Christ allegory kind of with him, right? So, like, when you watch the Superman Returns movie, that's all that was, right?
That's all it was.
Right. That movie was literally just about that and the parallels and all these things like that. It just shows how much those kind of stories, you know, pervade through all of culture, depending on what you grew up with and what your culture was built upon. You know what I mean? Even... fucking national treasure stealing the Declaration of Independence. I mean, if it was in Japan, they'd be trying to steal one of the sacred treasures. You know what I mean? Like,
but therein lies the greatest part. Culturally, they respect it enough to not worry about it.
Right.
And I think that's part of the charm is that they respect it enough to believe it and let it rock. Meanwhile, you know, Westerners are like, I need to see the Ark. There are, like, documentaries every 3 years of someone going to the alleged location of the Ark of the Covenant and trying to get in the building.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, it's common. It happens all the time. And it's like, I can't really blame him, but it's like, why? Right. Do you really need that? Do you really need to be the guy who got to see it?
Right.
With your camera crew? No, like, get fucked.
I mean, Japan, they're taught to have such a respect of their environment and everything like that, so... That's why Japan is so freaking clean. That's why I want to go back.
Yeah, I can't believe a place that doesn't have, like, trash cans for 5 kilometers will have no litter.
Dude, oh man, I miss that place so much. God. Like, I still can't believe, like, one time me and David were just walking on the street. Some guy's pedaling on his bike, stops to go eat at a restaurant, and just puts his bike next to the fence and just walks in there. He didn't tie it up.
Nope.
He did nothing to it. He just put the bike down and walked into the store.
I mean, so a couple of years ago, a buddy of mine, he was in Japan, he went shopping, and he left one of his bags at one of the stores he was shopping at. And, you know, so the last day of his trip, he's panicking because he knows he had this bag of stuff. He retraces his steps and runs around like Akihabara, finds the store he went into, and they stop him at the door and hand him his bag completely intact.
Well, there was, I think it was it Tasty Steve or somebody who had the store where they lost their wallet at the train station, and then like some old lady said like, "Oh yeah, I found it.
I dropped it at the police box."
I dropped it in the police box," which was like way at the other side, and like she just walked him all the way over there, and they were like, "Here you go," you know, and it's like, yeah, no, honestly, that's true in a lot of places, Gabriel. It's not his bike anymore.
I mean, do you remember that meme photo from like the late 90s, early 2000s of a dude's backyard that was nothing but bikes?
No. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was, I don't remember if it was from like Georgia or something, but it was literally like 500 bicycles, and you're pretty convinced that he did not buy all of them.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I tell you, man, I miss that place so much.
Yeah. But we're going to have another conversation about it in just a few minutes.
Even staying in my shitty little Appa hotel room, but like, they're not even shitty. They're like amazing. They're tiny, but like, they're so cozy. Because there's literally a bed, and if someone was lying on the floor, there'd be no place to stand. Like, and the person lying on the floor would be extremely cramped and uncomfortable. And yet somehow it is like one of the most freaking like coziest places and stuff like that. Like, oh, that sucks. Yeah.
I'm like, which country is it? And I bring up a list.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean,
sorry.
history is written by the winners, right? I mean, that's the way it all comes down to.
I mean, don't forget, war doesn't determine who is right; it determines who is left.
Dude, I actually saw something. I don't know if you guys know about that. Sojourner Truth. She has a very famous speech called like "Aren't I a Woman?" or something like that, and when you read the speech, it's all very like slave dialogue and all that stuff like that. People have discovered that 15 years later, a white lady, rewrote the speech in slave dialect, and if you actually go read the real speech, it's just a normal speech. It's a normal speech, and there's only like 4 sentences that were maintained and stuff like that. So the one that you read that's super famous is not even her actual speech.
Sounds right.
Like, it was crazy. I was just like, what?
No, we can't even. America can't even promote black people without being racist.
Right.
Like, come on.
So yeah, I mean.
Oh, pity.
Oh no.
Wait. Which one was that?
Which one was what? The museum that caught fire?
Yeah, only a few years ago?
That's crazy.
Because, like, Notre Dame was before that?
Yeah, Notre Dame was largely saved, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
in Brazil.
Okay.
That would explain why Americans never heard about it.
Yeah, because we don't talk about stuff that's going out in there, so... yeah, but that's the thing is,
sucks.
history is written by the winners, and that's just the way it works, right? So I've often talked about a lot of those kind of things too. Like, I've said this, I think on this stream, or maybe even previous streams, but I always tell people is like, go read the history of Central Park. Like, literally go read why Central Park was created, and it's kind of disturbing, actually, the real truth of why Central Park was created.
I love hearing about all the stories from the catacombs, like the giant like French ones.
Oh, okay.
Oh man,
Gotcha.
Like, some of those stories are like very graphic and gross, but they're fascinating.
Oh man.
Like, the reason the catacombs are the way they are is because they had so many dead people that weren't decomposing properly. And they had to, like, get them out of the city. Like, crazy. Anyways, so that was my little presentation on the Sacred Treasures, because I know that a lot of it was new and surprising to me, and like, I didn't put 2 and 2 together, even on like the Amaterasu and Alkami weapons and stuff. And I figured that there's probably at least 1 or 2 people over here that might have been tuning in who had no idea either. So I thought this was cool as shit. I just wanted to talk about it.
It's so crazy now that I've made the tie-in into all of Ami's weapons too. And it's just like, it's all there.
Everything is combined.
A lot of the stuff in Japan is going to be focused on that.
Almost everything winds up permeating from these legends.
Right. And
Yeah, so fun fact, by the way, the only reason I found out that Sacred Treasures were a real thing is because I was looking for weird KOF merch. And I started just looking at Sacred Treasures and someone actually had a charm keychain set that they bought at one of the shrines. And I was like, that's really cool. Wait a minute, that means the legend. Wait, okay.
yeah,
dig.
You're like, they have KOF merch at the shrine.
I didn't think it was KOF merch. I was like, okay, so there's more of a legend to this. But that's when I realized that like these still are physically items.
Right.
It's not like just saying like, oh yeah, there was a sword. It's like, this is what it looks like.
But in KOF lore, how did they get them, right?
Because they are the inheritors of each of the clans that descend from like the same like family chain.
You said that Ash had ripped the mirror out of Chizuru.
And then the Magatama out of Iori.
Okay. So Kyo was the only one that has managed to keep his then, basically. Okay. And that's why Chizuru disappeared for a really long time, right?
It's on the list of reasons why. Yeah.
Okay.
From 98 to 03, she's just like, I'm good. I don't need to be part of it. But then shit starts hitting the fan, so she gets part of it, and so she's the first victim, and then she's pretty much hospitalized for like the next 5 years.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
Like even the ending of 13 shows her getting the mirror back, and she's like, oh fuck. Oh okay. Okay. Things are fine.
But I mean, yeah. So Yagami isn't the clan's name, but they talk about that as well.
The KOF story is 660 years ago, which doesn't matter what fucking year it is. It's always 660 years ago still. Like it's got to be 700 by now. But I digress. The Yasakani clan made a pact with Orochi to get back at the Kusanagi clan for a perceived slighting.
Yeah, so what's interesting about this, of course, comes down to when they first created the game and happened to call him Kyo Kusanagi. Did they have this whole Sacred Treasures things planned? Because there was no Iori, there was no Chizuru, you know?
I don't know.
Right, that's the question. It would be a great thing to ask if this was kind of like this grand scheme of his.
I mean, the thing is that like it quickly became the Orochi saga because it was like I'm sure like maybe in '94 it wasn't, but by the time they hit '95, they're like, we got this. I know exactly what to do because that's how like Rugal got his power was from Orochi when he became Omega Rugal.
That's right.
And so by the time 95 hit, then you know everything was planned.
Right. It's just a question at 94, how much of this was planned, you know, kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. Murder member, blamed people, packed to the flame, blah, 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 purple.
Yeah, so Vice and Mature are just...
Hakishu. They are one... Okay, so with Orochi, he's got that cool tattoo that has all the 8 stripes and everything. Each of those point to one of the 8 Hyakishu, which are the representative heads of the clan.
Okay.
And so there are 8 characters who represent like Orochi clan heads. Genitz is the top one. Below him is the new face team, Chris, Shermie, Yashiro. And then below them were the other 4, which are represented by Yamazaki, Vice, Mature, and originally Gaidel, but now Leona.
Oh, okay. What's interesting about that, though, is that Yamazaki came from Fatal Fury, right? So was he always...
No, not really. That's right, I'm sorry. Yeah, Vice and Mature technically aren't Hyakishu, kind of aren't. They're in this weird gray area. No, he originally was just kind of like Mafia.
Right.
But he's so fucking batshit that they're like, this makes sense.
Right, yeah. Right.
Exactly. Yamazaki was retroactively. Yeah, that's this weird thing. Anyway, the thing is, though, is that they used it to actually make it a lot more interesting with, like, because he's kind of snapped and he's batshit, then how can you, like, control the mind or make someone lose their mind when they've already lost it? So he's one of the only ones who cannot do the Riot of Blood.
Right, because he can't go more insane than he already is.
Which is implied as to why he laughs at all the other members.
That's funny. He's so insane.
Yeah.
He can't get any more insane, so it's all good. That's the end of that. So.
It's not even old lore. That lore is still carried over into 14. Vice and Mature actually tell Iori that he's probably going to have, or no, 13. They tell him he's going to maintain his shorter lifespan if he takes the bead back.
And that's what, but he's just,
Yeah.
But then Iori was like, fuck it, and takes it anyway, right? When he takes the bead back, he's just like, whatever.
But that would infer that Leona can't riot, but she can. So that statement is not completely accurate. Leona still inherited the title of Hyakushu from her father. I mean, that's part of why Gainitz did what he did, is to let Gaidel die and have someone take his place.
It's so funny, just like
Iori's more like the big asterisk.
Right.
That he's like the most Orochi with being the least Hyakushu of the group.
Right. It's actually funny just like sitting here seeing all these people talk about it, because like, I mean, even on the Tuesday show, you know, when Chizuru was announced, you know, they were just like, and Chizuru, and I was like, yeah, which is cool because it's the first time the Sacred Treasures team, blah, blah, blah.
And David's like,
actually David's response was, that's actually really cool. He's like,
Okay,
I didn't
cool.
know the lore behind that. And I was like, yeah, if you're a lore head, then KOF is the series for you, basically. And you can tell who in the chat here is lore head KOF
and
people.
That's the thing, is I think that's really one of the biggest pulls KOF has. It's
for
character
sure.
design and story. You know, like, it's like I mean, I liked Fatal Fury when I was a kid, and I saw KOF. I was like, oh, it's gonna be awesome. And then the more I got into it, I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Right, yeah. And, you know, it's nice, too, because they actually care to make it make sense. To a degree, obviously, to the extent that you can.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a couple of trade-offs, and there's, you know, some of the more recent stuff with, like, the reboots and whatever. You're
Right. Katy Perry says, till they stop flat out writing for certain characters like they did to Kenso, right? Because, like, his dragon...
Just dropped it.
His dragon storyline just disappeared. Oh, man. What's going on, Mr. Belmont?
Yeah, I mean, Terry and, you know, most of the Fatal Fury cast kind of has that problem, too.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, we got as good a wrap-up as we're probably ever going to get.
Take that back, Kokujina.
Damn.
Take that back.
I mean, at least we got Memories of Stray Wolves with the Garo anniversary box, which was kind of nice.
Okay.
But that's, like, I'm going to go way into that because I'm still really sitting on this, like, do I need to make the Mary retrospective and talk about why I don't like 14 Mary? And talk about, like, how much was planned in this and then just...
Yeah. But, I mean, obviously, there was... Not to cut off anything, but obviously there was another topic to talk about as well.
This is the big one.
This is the big one, and the one that's a little more concerning is that during the dev roundtable... they started talking about netcode, and they started talking about Wi-Fi and all this stuff like that. And the Arxis guys, I think they mentioned rollback and stuff like that. And then when they got to Oda, obviously he mentioned nothing about rollback. He only talked
Wi-Fi indicators.
He talked about the Wi-Fi indicators, and he also talked about
fighting games are meant to be played offline.
Right? Yeah, just play offline. And so. Most people took this to mean that KOF 15 does not have rollback. Yeah. And most people are super kind of concerned about it. And I think, I mean, did they really say no characters until March? I mean, that's next Wednesday.
That's next Wednesday.
Yeah, that's fine.
It was literally Chizuru would have been today,
right,
but they showed her Saturday.
Right.
That's all really. Also, Poogly, God, I fucking hope so. I really want the Hizoku. I want the Hizoku back.
Oh, okay.
Just answering that question.
Yeah, they're basically just skipping this week, but the main concern right now is the netcode. And for me, I then tweeted out that, you know, I think that King of Fighters 15 released this year with a delay-based netcode, even if they take another 6-7 months to release a patch later to change the netcode to rollback netcode, will be too late. I think having the game come out with delay-based netcode is almost a death knell for the game, right? Especially after the Strive beta. On the Tuesday show, we were making the comparison of like, look, MVCI, Dragon Ball out of nowhere. Oh God, you know, like made MVCI just like, what is wrong with? Forget this. Look, here's the new Marvel. Like, I feel like
it's a good thing that game was playable online. Oh,
yeah, but that's what the Strive beta kind of is doing right now, right? So a game like KOF, now even the Japanese players are like, oh, I can play people in America. Dogura tweeted out, like, I can play Justin in Canada.
It's a huge international movement.
Right.
Everyone.
So if you're wondering, Factory Worker 1, so let's talk about this a little bit. He asked, why is delay-based netcode so bad? Because your experience of playing delay-based netcode means that your experience playing online is not the same as you are playing offline. Because when two states of the game become desynced, basically they don't know whose is real. So when you hit the button, they wait till it catches up, and then your button gets triggered, which is why when you hit a fierce punch, sometimes you'll hit it and wait a little bit, and then you'll punch, right? And so your experience... So, for example, for me playing Unist, I have a combo with Nanase where you have to jump and hit H and hold the button to charge it up. And so you have to do it the instant you jump. When I play it online, I have to hit the H button before I see my character jump. Mm-hmm. And then when I go to training mode, all of a sudden I can't time it anymore. I keep hitting H while I'm still on the ground.
Yeah, you remember how Marvel 3's training mode even had the lag simulator?
Yeah.
It's because of that.
Right. And so what Rollback Netcode does is it makes it so that you are always... Whatever you input will happen at that time. If two things get out of sync... What the game will actually do is go back to the last time the games were in sync, reapply the inputs, and in one frame change it to the accurate state.
One frame or less.
One frame or less, yeah. And so that's why in Street Fighter V, which is poorly coded, you'll see characters like teleport.
Yeah, or my favorite is hit confirming off something and then it roll back and then they were blocking actually.
Right, exactly. But if your rollback is good... and designed properly. In fact, people who have worked on rollback have looked at Street Fighter V and like, I know exactly what's wrong with this. I've dealt with that bug on my game. You know, Keats has said this and stuff. And so, like, they literally know what's wrong with it. So it's easily fixed. It's just Capcom won't do it for some reason. They
might do it soon.
Hopefully.
Change the leadership.
Hopefully. But Strive beta this weekend... I mean, from Tubo was even saying on, yeah, I know, right? We got some Pacha hair going, but he's a KI player, right? He's a KI player, and KI has had some of the best rollback netcode that has ever existed in a fighting game, and he said Strive's rollback netcode was better than that. He's like, it's the best he's ever played. And I played a bunch of matches online. There was not a single match that I felt like was a problem. And in fact, going from training mode to online, back to training mode to online to playing you, I actually have more experience than a lot of people because we played a shit ton of games. And then I went online and they never felt any different.
Yeah, now, and that's the thing, is that ARC also said, without naming names, that they worked with other international developers to get their rollback right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think is a huge fucking step.
And yes, that is correct. That is why it slows down sometimes in delay-based netcode, because it doesn't know what's the state is going to be. So sometimes the game will just stop and like, okay, here's... All right.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. So... yeah, I mean the patch notes were actually pretty good for the Street Fighter V. Some of the best patch notes I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think everyone, like the deep dive guys, are like, you know, there's still a few errors here and there. These are 100% the most accurate they've ever had.
Yeah, and not only that, but they actually said what their philosophy was for some of the changes, which is crazy. So yeah, Zynak is the one who worked on KI netcode and is now helping Arxis.
And so he probably was like, "Hey, buddies, let's get this thing really rolling." Like intelligence reach. He called in some homies and like, "All right, let's get this."
And then shout outs to Arxis to listening to all of the polls that they had at Frosty Faust, things at Arc Revo and everything like that. They had a poll for everyone, and one of the questions was, how important is rollback netcode for you? In Japan, they didn't really go overwhelmingly say yes because they don't know, because their experience has been better.
Gonna learn today.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is now we're actually kind of aware that their experience is better only to a certain extent, because now that they've played Strive, they're like, wait a second.
This is what you people have been talking about?
Even when they played Accent Core, the Plus R, when they got rollback netcode, they were like, I can do all this stuff.
OWM had the same effect.
Exactly. So even as Japan was tolerant of their netcode, because their infrastructure is better, so it probably was better than what we went through.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I actually was watching someone's match of Street Fighter online, and it was Japan versus Japan, really close. I still saw it hitching.
Yeah, for sure. So that's kind of the setup of this whole entire thing. SNK has not committed to rollback netcode on King of Fighters 15, and they've seemed strangely dodging of it. Now, either they're trolling us so they can drop that, we have rollback, and then everyone's like, oh, like, and get super excited, or it's because that they have gone with delay-based netcode because...
And they know they're digging a grave.
And they're digging a grave right now. And so what I'm saying is that I feel like if the game comes out in 2021 with delay-based netcode, even if they intend to fix it later, I think that could... And obviously, I'm excited about this game. I'm hyped for this game. I want it to be successful. I want all the fighting games.
Yeah.
I just tweeted yesterday that in the span of 10 tweets, I saw clips from 5 different fighting games. And, like, that was cool to me. Like, people are playing all these different games. I want KOF to be one of them. You know? And I want KOF to succeed because, to me, KOF... It's like how I felt during that period of time where Tekken felt kind of irrelevant, you know, like during the 4, 5, and then all of 6.
Yeah, like mid to late 2000s, early 2010s.
Yeah, when Evo came around, it was always like Street Fighter, and then Tekken, you know, and then now Tekken 7 is like Tekken, and like that feels right to me. Because Street Fighter and Tekken have always been the things, and KOF has always been one of those presences in the FGC. And so I really, really would like to see KOF 15 come out and be a force.
And not just be a side tournament.
Right, and not just be a side tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that if it takes delay till 2022 to get rollback, good.
Yeah.
I will take that, because if I have to wait till 2022, but I can play the game for the rest of the decade, I'm fucking in.
Right, exactly.
But if I get the game this year and I can only play it for 3 weeks because everyone else drops it because it's unplayable,
right,
not a good look. And again, this is coming after Samurai Showdown, which its online is rough. And I really want to take this segue right here. Because Oda's statement about fighting games are meant to be played offline is kind of rendered moot by the fact that when I was in Japan a year ago, you know what people weren't playing in the fucking arcade? Is Samurai Showdown. Because you know what? Samurai Showdown Arcade is on the Nessica system, which means it has to be online.
Right.
So you can't play it in person.
Right. There technically was no offline even in the arcades. Yeah.
And again, this is all COVID notwithstanding. This is just that. You know,
Right.
COVID was not in full swing during Evo Japan last year. Between myself and Corey, we found maybe 2 matches of Sam Show the entire trip.
That's crazy. Dude.
In the arcades. And it was the Japan arcades. People play all sorts of shit.
Right.
I never once saw the ST setups empty. But I couldn't find a match of Sam Show.
Right, yeah.
You can't say they're meant to be played offline and then make a game you can't play offline. And then you can't play it online. Like,
yeah, dude, I think Karen says exactly right. If there's rollback, Brazilian and South American players will just, that scene will come out in force. So
how bad do you think, like, the Middle East wants to play Korea?
Yeah, right?
Bro!
Like
everyone.
Do you feel Code Mystics can add rollback to a 2.5 3D fight? Yeah, absolutely.
They can,
now,
given time, resources.
It'll be harder because it's less experience with that, but they'll know a lot of the pitfalls in there. The hardest part is that if this game was not developed with rollback in mind, they have to make a lot of retroactive decisions, right? If it rolls back and you happen to be in the middle of this, do we kill this lighting effect? Do we, because the thing is, you know, the game, like, you'll see this in training modes sometimes, right? Like, KI had this in one of their training modes.
When if you reset, like, your training mode state and, like, a fireball's still on screen for no reason.
Or, like, you do something and then the thing that you planted that's always hovering over your head, you reset and then you see the thing float back to you from where it was.
Yeah.
right? It's more than just, hey, we can just erase time and break. Like, you have to think about how to handle all these things. You can't just erase what's there, right? There's a lot of things to think about and stuff. And so that's why if you develop the game from scratch to do it, it works. Or if you're like Guilty Gear Strive and you just literally take the time to be like, all right,
it has to be done.
Rip it out. Like, it's not like netcode is a layer on top of the code, is what I always say, right? It's not like you have your game here and here's netcode. Like, if you pull the netcode off, it's not like pulling a Band-Aid where it rips a few hairs off and it hurts. Like, you're literally pulling it and all the wires are coming out, and when you pull it, like, probably some of the
you're
machine-
watching like the Sentinels die in the X-Men cartoon.
right, like, shit will come out with that.
Wolverine screaming in the background, you know.
So here's the thing, is that one, SNK does have code mystics. Like, if they just said, like, all right, look, we're going to take a chunk of time, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, to get code mystics to come and take a look at this. Let's assess the time and let's work on getting the rollback in there. If they do that and the game comes out and has rollback, a lot of the fans are going to be sad that it's delayed like that. But then when it comes out, it'll still have the freshness hype. People will play it and they'll be like, holy crap, I can play anybody everywhere. Like, it was crazy to me to actually say this on Tuesday, but from my experience of playing Guilty Gear Strive against Japanese players, against Korean players, against European players, we can actually run an international online tournament on that thing.
Yep.
And it was terrifying to say that. Like, it was like,
am I allowed to use those words?
yeah, I'm like, am I just full of complete shit? Because that sounds impossible. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't even sound like I should say that and mean it. But if we came out with KOFXV with Rollback Netcode in 2022, and all of South America can play it, and the Miyamoto quote,
the legendary quote,
a delayed game is eventually good, a rushed game is forever bad. Exactly. And so, look, no lie, to delay the game a year, to develop Rollback Netcode, is going to cost them a fuck ton of money. And it's going to hurt very, very, very badly for them. But I think they'd have a better chance of recuperating all of that.
They're more likely to have a larger profit margin from it in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. So if they release it now to hope to make money so that they can come out with KOF15 Champion Edition with rollback, the hype will be gone already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you actually take the time to delay the game and come out with it later and have the rollback netcode in there, it could become very big and it'll sell super well in all the other countries, in my opinion.
Yeah, Strive was delayed for almost a year. And again, the biggest problem is this is coming after Sam Show.
Yeah.
They are not doing the best in terms of, like, faith. Like, they're not going to have as many people like, I don't know, this game's fucking awesome, and then find out it's bad. Now they have a precedent of, I can't play it online.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's funny because you mentioned right now that Guilty Gear was delayed almost a year.
Yeah, it was
Right.
chat as well.
Yeah, so someone mentioned Guilty Gear was, Strive had almost, Uda Karen said Strive had almost been delayed a whole year, right? And the funny thing is, I don't remember that. Like, we've had enough to keep us...
It was a minimum of 6 months from
Right.
release date to the release date.
And the thing is, we've had enough to keep us busy that we aren't thinking to ourselves like, great googly moogly, like this stupid delay. I can't believe they delayed this. I never want to play this game again.
Not to mention, I'm too busy putting on a mask and trying not to die. But
yeah. Fair. Fair. I only laugh because it's uncomfortable, but it's so true.
I mean, so one of the other things to note is one of my favorite threads on this whole topic of, of the hashtag SNK rollback, which, by the way, please use it, but use it politely. Don't be a jerk. Was Laban.
Yeah.
Laban getting to go to this international 98 tournament, just really put on a show. And he's like, I would not have been able to do that if it weren't for Rollback Netcode. Because, how am I going to develop the muscle memory for this matchup and this matchup if nobody I know plays the character?
Right.
And it got me thinking, like, oh yeah, I cannot fight Benimaru because not a single human being I know plays Benny well. I don't know that matchup.
Right.
The only times I have ever fought Benny in tournament got blown the fuck up.
Right, yeah,
I played against one in O2 UM the other day. Blown the fuck up. I don't want to fight that character. And what am I going to do? Hey, James, can you pick up Benny for me?
Expert Benny tomorrow.
Yeah,
no
perfect.
problem.
No
No
problem,
problem, right?
But because of having Rollback Netcode, you can jump online, find people around the world, learn the matchups that you're never going to learn in any other way. Like, I mean, shit. How long was Marvel 3 around? At Wednesday Night Fights before anyone even had a Deadpool. I have never learned the Deadpool matchup because I have fought him 3 times.
Right.
But yeah, like Laban got that experience, and it led to him becoming one of the best 98 players in the world for a while.
Right. And it also helps too, because like, you know, obviously we're lucky. We're in Southern California.
Yeah.
Before pandemic, we could go to Wednesday Night Fights and practice. Unless you're a fucking introvert like I am, and you just don't feel like ever leaving your house.
But you have the option.
Right.
You can do both.
But the nice thing about it is, even though I have that option, I was still able, because of Parsec, to learn Soul Calibur now. And so, like, I've actually gotten a lot better at Soul Calibur now because I've been able to play this game online. Playing online is such an important thing. You know what I mean? So having KOF15 be playable online is not a question of a nice to have or not. This is the new reality.
Yeah,
here.
this is a good game that might break even, or a great game that we can keep playing for years.
Right. And again, like you're talking about SoCal, we have the benefit of Wednesday Night Fights. What about some dude in like Wisconsin? Right, exactly.
What about dudes in like the Yukon who have internet and that's it? You know, Eastern Canada. You know, what are you gonna do? You gonna get on a boat to go to a local? No.
Oh man. I mean, some people practically did. I mean, freaking Paradigm drove 2 hours in no traffic to get to the Super Arcade.
And that's not even some of the worst I've heard from SoCal. Dudes in like 3 hours from Apple Valley.
Well, I mean, what about Julian and Fu? They come from Santa Barbara to go there. They come from Santa Barbara, and then they're there till 3 a.m., and they always stay over at somebody else's house for the night so they can drive back to Santa Barbara the next morning.
Seville would make the trip from like Apple Valley or some shit, and he'd just do it that night.
Right,
Bonkers.
Yeah, it's crazy, but online is important, and that's why, you know, there's also been the movement too, you know, with SNK rollback, but there's been a lot of people, including like Nothing Excess, you know, who's been a big KOF fan. He's like, if there's no rollback, I can't support it anymore. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, it's a fair statement, but just constantly making the threat isn't helping anybody either.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of do have to vote with your wallet, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
the thing is, you have to let them know that if there's no rollback, you're probably not going to buy the game.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, that's a good way to convince them to spend the extra money to make the rollback.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one, is that he's still typing in English, right?
Yeah, that's the other
That's the thing,
hard
is the
part.
fact that we're actually getting Japanese players to join the movement.
Yeah.
We're getting Japanese players who don't even play KOF are like, you know what, this really is important. I'm at least going to support you guys. This is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, M and Score especially, because
Score and M-Dash.
Score has been dominating all of the KOF and all the Samurai Showdown stuff, you know, internationally recently. And he probably knows, because he's seen the scene and everything like that and travel. I mean, I commentated his match at Frosty Faustings for Samurai Showdown and at Canada Cup, you know? So, like, clearly it's really important. And, yeah, everything...
And it's like, and the thing is, like, you're talking to someone who really, really wants this game. Like, I would do morally questionable things to have my hands on a demo right now.
Right, exactly.
I can wait. This game needs to work.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that fighting games are meant to be played offline if I can't play them offline because of a pandemic, and I can't play them online because you decided to not make it playable. Like, we can't have this option. I mean, Lord knows, like, I'm a sucker. I'm gonna buy it anyway because I'm gonna play single player. I don't care. I'm gonna hit some buttons because I'm a fucking nerd.
Right.
But it's going to be just that. Is a game I keep in my back pocket to play single player for a few hours a week instead of a thing I can dedicate the next decade to.
Right. And that's the important part right there, is that if you don't have the ability to play online, the longevity of your game will not exist. And, you know, it's tricky because Japan hasn't really been about longevity, right? Like, it's always... here's the game, comes out, it's big, okay, done. Let's move on to the next thing.
I mean, KOF was annual until 11.
Right. And it's changed now. Japan has to understand that, and they are starting to understand that. And for fighting game success is their longevity, right? Like, their success is going to come from longevity. And online is going to do that. Like, everybody has Strive withdrawal right now. Like, that kind of...
That's their first Guilty Gear.
Yeah, that's their first Guilty. Absolutely. Shout outs to Jay Belmont. Sigma Nuts Cat Butts to Jay Belmont. That was their first Guilty Gear. They've never played it before, and everybody's coming together, and everybody's playing, and everybody's enjoying it. And now that the beta's over, everybody's having withdrawals. Like, they're just like...
I didn't even play it online. I'm having withdrawals because I'm having fun playing it with you.
Right, yeah.
You know?
And it's just... But that's the craziest part, is that these people are playing only online. And this is how enamored they are with the game. And I'll tell you this, when I was playing it online, the amount of joy that I was gleaning from it being online, because I never had the thought like this wouldn't have happened offline, which is almost kind of why I made that joke when we were playing that one time when I got hit by Leo's cross-up and I was like, freaking online lag.
Didn't we pause it?
Yeah, you paused it because you started dying, dude. Because you hit me with the crosshair. I was like, I could block this if it wasn't for online lag, you know. But like, I mean, that's almost kind of why I made that joke, because the online felt like that, and there was no point in time where I felt like it was online. And so, being able to play and feeling like, yes, everything that's happening in this game is supposed to be how it happens. If I didn't block this, I didn't block it. Yeah, Even in Soul Calibur, sometimes when I play, even with Parsec, there's a couple of times where I see something and I clearly low block it, and I don't low block it in time, and that's there's still input delay.
Chizuru trailer counted for this week.
Yeah. Chizuru counted for this week.
I think one of the things to really take away from this is SNK needs to add rollback to remind us that they care about us too.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to.
It's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah.
Is that the community needs to be reminded that they love us too.
Yeah, because Samurai Showdown has been rough. Samurai Showdown was really rough.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Samurai Showdown is, like, in my opinion, is easily one of the best fighting games to come out in this past decade. And there are a lot of people who are at least, like, in a ballpark of agreements with me. And you know what people aren't excited for? Getting characters added to it. Because, I mean, yeah, it's cool and all, but, I mean, who am I going to play them against?
Right.
Who can I pick up Cham Cham to fight?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about running some Parsec stuff with Samurai Showdown. So if you're interested in coming up and just...
And hang out.
And play it with...
Or shoot the shit and commentate with you. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be cool. I've even been talking to Andy OCR about it and stuff like that. So because I just didn't want to step on his toes or anything like that. But he runs tournaments. I've been doing the Soul Cal distancing thing.
Yeah,
so
put up a quarter kind of thing.
Yeah, put up a token. So I'm just going to try to keep that going a little bit. But,
well, reminder, Sam Show also came out on the Stadia.
But, you know...
yeah.
Yeah, shout outs to Angela as well, of course, yeah. So,
the OCR family, as it were. Because shout outs to Winston.
Oh. I love that dog so much. Like, you know how much I love golden retrievers. And Winston is like... A golden retriever.
Like
that is a gold. I remember one time I did go to Wednesday Night Fights and they brought Winston there, and I spent the whole time like hugging the dog. And
hey James, you want to commentate? Nope.
Yeah, I'm like, I am commentating. This dog is beautiful. This dog.
Oh, look at you with the fuzz tag.
Yeah, exactly. Fuzzy guard, dude. Fuzzy guard, dude. I mean, that's the thing. So, like, I'm going to install Epic Game Store. I'm going to get that all on there and hopefully run some Parsec stuff. And, you know, Cham Cham's coming out. It'll be cool to get some hype for the game. And I know some people still enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I definitely want to hit buttons. I want to keep working on, you know, something. And the thing is, I mean, they've implied, I think they said it before and didn't say it this time, that Cham Cham is supposed to come with a major balance patch.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah, they said that, I think, in, like, January during the KOF reveal, when they also first revealed Cham Cham and Hibiki.
Right, yeah.
That there's supposed to be a balance patch as well. Like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the thing. So...
Yeah, the guard breaks, exactly.
Oh,
yeah, there's guard crush now.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I'm glad you ended that with a kappa because we're not discussing that question right there.
All right, sounds good, Sultan Cobra. I mean, Sultan Cobra, you're the one that got me to. No, it was somebody else actually. So was it you, Sultan? Was it somebody else? Shoot, I can't remember now. But someone was just like.
Yeah, and Terry from Smash.
Yeah, it was you, Sultan. Okay, yeah, it was you who just donated and was like, yeah, it was just like here, like, if you do Sam's show. Then I'm gonna help you. Yeah.
Champion.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't there for it, but thank you.
And so that's the reason why I started making a push for it, actually, to be honest with you. So, like I said, now I'm gonna try to set up a Samurai Showdown thing. I might try to do a Eunice thing as well. I might actually just start doing this arcade thing as my thing.
I'm down.
You know,
I mean,
now I'll have Soul Calibur on Mondays.
I mean, as long as people are helping to support the games, the communities, and the events, like, hell yeah.
I mean, I had even considered, because we do SNKronize here on Wednesday, that I would just run the Sam show on Wednesday. But this is when Wednesday Night Fights is happening, and this is when Andy OCR is doing that. So Wednesday is a day that you can't do those kind of things. So, but maybe I'll do a Thursday Sam show, a Friday Eunice, or something like that, and just do that every week, because what ends up happening most of the time is I just start talking to the people in the chat, so it's kind of like a Chen reaction, but you know, but there's games going on.
The subtle revival of Uncensored.
Yeah, basically. So it's actually kind of cool. So, oh, there you go, Sarah Death, who is one of the avid. He's on every one of my Soul Cal distancing weeks, which is really cool.
Sword people like sword things. All right.
You know, that's funny that you say that, because now that you mentioned it, Soul Calibur, if I did Soul Calibur and then I did Samurai Showdown and then I did Eunice, I should just call it
sword people doing sword things.
Sword Cal distancing. You know? Oh man, I should call it Sword of Netcode. I mean, come on.
Sword of Vincent's.
Sword of Netcode.
Legend of Swords.
I got mentioned in an article? Why would I have gotten mentioned in this article? During the Roundtable, blah, 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 blah. Trying to see here. James Chen said that it was unsettling that Oda dodged the netcode conversation. Yo. Oops.
Fuck me, right?
Fighting game commentator James Chen said that it was unsettling.
Wait, that's said. Does that mean that's like a clip of it?
That's probably a link to my tweet.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, see, it's a link to my tweet. Whoops. Okay. I mean, it's true though, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? What do you parsec Thursdays? But I mean, it's true though. That's the hardest part about the whole entire thing, right? So
yeah, I mean, because you saw me during that stream. I'm just sitting there like, come on, I don't need a confirmation, but give me hope. Mm-hmm. And then they talked about Wi-Fi indicators.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of the focus of the conversation, but people were bringing up stuff.
But he was the only one who didn't even segue out of it.
Yeah, and Harada kept kind of like I swear Harada was like poking somebody with something, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny. But
I mean, the thing is that, like, the one thing I will say is that the hashtag SNK rollback, the movement has already gotten big enough that you know they're hearing it.
Yeah, they have to.
There's no way that they're not hearing it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter if they choose to listen.
Right.
But I mean, keep it up, because it's really like, if we stay quiet, it's definitely not going to happen. I mean, unless it's already planned and they're fucking with us, but
right.
It's really hard to lean on that fucking hill. So,
I mean, honestly, kudos to them if they're just being like, all right, we know this is going to upset a lot of people. Here's our netcode, and I said, roll back, haha, suckers.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like, if they did that, then, like, shout outs to them. But the thing about it is, if it is rollback netcode, there's no reason not to have announced it already. Because then everybody would already be excited.
Now, in all fairness, like, the amount about the gameplay we don't know is pretty astonishing.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, like, if they want to do a video of, like, here is our system mechanics breakdown, you know, low health, super cancels, no max mode, EX moves, rollback netcode, and you know, like, I'm on board if they want to do it all at the same time. Because, like, again, we don't know what the conditions are for anything in the fucking game. Like, we don't even know if you can still roll.
Right.
All right.
That's true. We haven't seen any rolls
Like,
at all.
this is a KOF game, and we don't have rolls confirmed
Dude,
yet.
that would actually be funny if Sultan Cobra, if they actually did that. Yeah. There's rolls in the games, and you do have back rolls. So they're like, let's talk about our netcode, and just show them rolling back all the time.
Godlike. Dude,
I
literally, I need someone to clip this right now so I can send it to KK and be like, we need to pass this on.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you announce it.
Right. rolling backwards. Here's our netcode.
About our net play, you may have questions.
Right. Yeah, and just show them rolling back and then just end the video, basically. Yeah. And then that would be amazing. Oh, man. Yeah, they haven't said anything about game features, right? Yeah. But again, there's been so much concern and so much concern. Like, when Strive was announced to have rollback, everyone's response was like, please let it be good, please let it be good, please let it be good. But it was excitement. Right now, because of Samurai Showdown, the opposite is happening for KOF, which is like, you know, it's just like everyone who talks about KOF 15 is like, okay, God, please be rollback. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm about ready to, like, start putting blood over my door kind of thing. Like, protect me from the curses. Like, it's getting bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they really should do a system mechanics breakdown or example or something soon, but it needs to be the netcode issue needs to be discussed.
Yeah, and again,
even if they just say, you're right, we weren't gonna, but guess what, we're delaying it and we're gonna.
Right.
We take that. We take that.
Dude, do you know, I have talked to so many people, I've talked to people at lots of companies about that, is those things like that are so much more valuable.
Should probably close that.
Than a lot of the money that you can get out of, like
you can't buy goodwill.
Right, exactly. Like, I was even saying, like, if you just actually, one patch just, like, made it so that Birdie's chain didn't clip through his chest, like, people would be like, that's cool, thank you. I mean, we were getting excited about the zoom-ins on some of the supers,
I love
right?
that shit.
Right? Like, if they just fixed Ken's face a little bit, you know? Yeah. All of a sudden, Alex's legs weren't backwards, you know, like things like that. That goodwill is important.
Yeah, and I mean, part of the problem is that SNK's transparency is not the best. It's really not. And we had it pretty good for a while, and then it dipped back down.
Right.
And I mean, it's really a shame. And that's what makes this so much harder, is because there is so little transparency about features, netcode, everything.
And honestly, if they said that, if they literally said that, like,
verbatim,
after we've seen Strive and the reception that Strive is getting, we have decided to delay our game, you know, indefinitely, but we'll try to get it for you as fast as possible. We don't know the timetable yet, but we're going to delay the game and work on trying to get rollback netcode in here, and we'll see what we can do. Like, I can't even imagine there's the amount of positive energy you're going to get from social media, from news outlets and everything like that will override the people going like, I want my game now, you know?
No, real talk, like, if they openly said rollback, you could probably watch their stocks go up.
It's so true.
Like, the shareholders need to understand how important this is to the customer base and how positively it would affect their shares.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We've talked about that. If they say put out the game and then they promise to give us rollback soon, that's not enough.
Right.
It's not going to be worth the trade there.
It will still kill the game, because it'll come out. Everyone will be like, here's the brand new shiny thing.
No, and so the kicker is that most game sales are predicated on the first few weeks. And if you promise to fix your game after launch, you just murdered your first few weeks, because now everyone's going to wait for that fix.
Right.
I mean, shit, even I would consider it. And that delay could like risk bankrupt right there. Like that could literally bankrupt you. Is that your game that you spent millions of dollars on just sold nothing in its opening week?
Right.
Who says you're going to afford that fix you just promised me?
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, again, we say all these things not as a means of because we're trying to shit on SNK. We say these things because we're trying to make sure KOF15 succeeds as best as possible. Like, the positive energy that has come from Strive right now, I have had so many people on my timeline being like, I wasn't going to buy this game, but after hearing everybody talk about it, I think I'm going to give it a chance now. Like, the amount of people, and then there's the people that was a free beta who played the game, and they were like, this is amazing. I wasn't planning to get this game, but I'm 100% buying this game now, right? Like, that kind of positive energy from everybody is such a powerful tool. And that's why I would, again, I'm not like sitting here going like, I hope SNK crashes and burns. Like, my whole thing is like, I want it to succeed. Delaying the game, yeah, it will hurt that we have to wait a little longer, but if we wait a little longer to get rollback, and so we can all play this game online and they will have a strong presence, because let's face it, even if the pandemic is over by the time it comes out, and notice that I said if, right? Yeah.
It's a ending until like 2030.
Yeah, I know, right? But even if, online tournaments are a real thing now. Like, COVID really propelled us into that direction faster. And it was an inevitability. I've been saying this on the Tuesday show over and over again. The transition from offline to online is the same as from arcade to console right now, because it's all the same question. Online players aren't legit. Remember back when it was like console players aren't legit? You don't really know unless you're playing the arcade, and you know.
I mean, now in Devil's Advocate, in the 90s that was kind of true because nobody had an arcade perfect port.
Right. Yeah.
Just
But
little Devil's Advocate.
But even when CVS2 was out and MVC2,
yeah, that was definitely good enough, or it was perfect.
No, but right, they were
enough.
perfect.
Yeah.
But that's when Evo was transitioning from arcade to console, and everyone was like, "This is no longer legit. There's no accuracy because now you're playing on console."
What do you mean I can actually rely on my buttons to work?
Yeah, it's a very similar thing. Online is part of our lifeblood now, and if your game can't be played online, I mean, your game is gonna suffer, right? Marvel 3 made a comeback because of Parsec. I'm only playing Soul Calibur because of Parsec, right?
I mean, that applies to most Soul Calibur players.
KI made a comeback because it has rollback netcode, right? Skullgirls has a new season coming out. Like, they just announced a new season
Due to having great rollback and redacted.
and
redacted being gone.
right, and people have been playing it the entire time. And I've always said this, a good fighting game is eternal, right? A good fighting game is eternal, and the truth of the matter is,
Yes, that Orochi figure is fucking amazing.
whether or not a fighting game is godlike these days, part of that is based off of rollback netcode now. Oh shit, he has 8 arms.
I actually use 10.
1, 2,
apparently.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's because he's doing that move where it's a blur effect.
Oh,
Like
right,
that, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Dude, yeah. It's not the one I need, but damn, it is cool.
You know what would have been really cool if they did? Obviously, it would have made the price of this thing go ecstatic. But you know how they have those little fans that can create the image so it looks like a hologram? That would have been sick if he had one on his back that just spun and made the arms just like blurry like that.
I mean, you can just make it.
That's
like
probably
those spinning
true.
fans aren't like that expensive.
Are they not? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they're not like they're just like annoying, a little prohibitive maybe, but they're not
Right.
like, it's not like you're spending $600 on a statue and $600 on an LED.
Right. Because those things are crazy. It's funny
Yeah.
because those are the closest things that I've seen to actually finally replicating things from
Like
like
80s
Blade Runner,
hologram,
like
yeah.
Blade Runner and stuff like that. Because at Canada Cup last year, there was a company demoing a bunch of those things, and I was just looking at them, and I was just like, this is really impressive.
I was getting a kick out of I think it was it E3 2 years ago? They had one for like I think the Crash display out front.
okay,
and that was great. It was like Crash or Spyro.
The only problem with those things, though, is that kids are gonna be like, "Let me touch it," and then they're just gonna get their
Are you
hands.
kidding me? I'm gonna like stop it with my tongue.
Yeah, their fingers are
Like
gonna
that.
get chopped off
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah. But I mean, yeah, they should see how excited and how much their sales have gone up for games like Garu, for Samurai Showdown 5.
I mean, they
for
have those
UM.
numbers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the thing is just like, you remember when 14 came out? They said it exceeded their expectations. I think y'all need to set your sights a little higher this time. Because if 14 exceeded your expectations, Sam Show blew it out of the water, and you can't even play it online anymore. Can you imagine if 15 like really hit this out of the park?
Well, then it would shatter their expectations.
But like all jokes aside, like if they hit 15 out of the park, like it probably could make more money than they've made in the past 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely, and I honestly believe that. And
I mean, you joke about 14 made with pocket money, but you know what? Fighting EX Layer has rollback.
Yeah, Footsies has rollback. High Fight was in our chat on the Tuesday show, and he was like, putting in rollback netcode is a lot easier than something else, and I was like, dude, you can't say anything more because that man literally did it to his goofy little game.
But in all fairness, it is a 2-color 2D game. Devil's advocate.
True. But the thing about it is, the other thing that they have to realize is if KOF 15 comes out with rollback netcode, I guarantee you that will equal at least another 3 or 4 years of seasons.
Yeah.
Like, you can sell characters that way.
We might stop being soccer of fighting games, where every country gets it except America. We might actually get played.
Right.
We might get a spot at majors.
Right.
You know, like... So, by the way, with that in mind, Frosty Faustings did not have a single SNK game this year.
Really? Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I wonder what might have inspired that. You know, with the whole things being online.
Yeah.
I wonder if there might be something.
I mean, I'm surprised that like they didn't have like or there or something like that. So
yeah, I mean, but it's like there's enough games that work online, maybe, and yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the thing. So if they release it now,
I mean, assuming Evo exists by that point.
Yeah, it's true. But if KOF came out this year with the lay-based netcode, they probably have a roadmap of another season, and none of that's going to sell because everybody's done with the game already.
Not going to sell well enough to warrant anything more.
And like I said, if they release it with the rollback netcode the next year, all the money they spent going into that will now also branch off into potentially a season 3, a season 2, a season 3. If it's that good, maybe a season 4. You know what I mean? Like,
invest some of it in starting a new Metal Slug project.
Right.
Like, you can do all sorts of shit.
And then if you have that experience, then you make Metal Slug with rollback too, right? Online co-op Metal Slug rollback.
Yeah, where everyone's bullets are in sync. Let's go.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, that would be super cool.
Yeah.
So, I just think, yeah, I mean, even in their trailer, they were like, enjoy the rollback netcode of KOF, 2002 UM to bide your time before KOF 15. Like, that's a scary state. I felt like that had to have mean that they had a rollback in 15.
Or they're at least, like, paying attention.
Right, but...
Yeah, because using that as a selling point, even in the Japanese trailers, mind you.
Yeah,
Like, that's one of their selling points, and everybody knows it. And during the roundtable, Oda kind of looked like he had his back against a wall.
Yeah.
Like, some people said he looked, like, stone-faced and unreadable. He looked scared to me.
Yeah.
Like, he was like...
He looks like how you feel in all your dreams where you have to go up and give a speech and you don't remember anything. You know, where you're just like, oh God.
Yeah, I have to give an hour-long presentation. I have no notes. What the fuck am I talking about?
Right, exactly. So, and again, I don't want to read too much of it. This is not me trying to talk smack about Oda or anything like that, but hopefully he's kind of aware of it too, because going into that weekend, it was the same weekend as the Strive beta, and just everybody was, I mean, literally shitting themselves on how good that rollback netcode was.
Yeah, I mean, case in point, also, the only thing Guilty Gear showed at the event was Eno. And KOF gave us, like, 2 new trailers and this cool shit and this cool shit.
Cross Guilty Gear!
Yeah, all this crazy shit. And still people were like, yeah, they won the panel.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything new. No. KOF is like, we have all this cool shit, and Samsung has all this cool shit. Yeah, but you didn't say the word rollback.
Right. And the first
That's
time...
gonna cost you.
The first time I was playing, because I'm an influencer, so I got Guilty Gear a little bit earlier, and I was playing, and I was like, oh my god, this connection with Japan is amazing. I played IGN_Korea, like, and the connection was amazing and everything like that. And like, even David and everybody else was like, let's wait till they open up the beta and let's see how it handles after the masses come in.
I mean, it broke the server.
It broke the server, but the rollback was fine. Yeah. The rollback was fine. That was the main thing right there. So, that was the main thing. So, yeah. I like I said, my whole goal here is I would like KOF to succeed. And yeah, I've said many times on the stream, I didn't play a lot of KOFs, right? Well, guess what? Soul Calibur 6 is my first Soul Calibur. Tekken 7 is my first Tekken, right? Like, I'm jumping into a lot of these games brand new because I feel like I've missed the boat on a lot of these things. If KOF 15 comes out...
And you're consistently having fun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, like, toot the horn on KOF or anything.
Tekken...
Like,
people have seen my fun. No, I know. I
mean, there's a fair point both ways.
Yeah, no, but honestly, I'm glad that I know how Tekken is played now. I can watch Tekken and understand what the mind games are, and when I go to a friend's house and they're like, hey, James, you want to play some Tekken? I can at least sit down and
play some fucking
play
games.
some Tekken, right? I won't be the guy like, I have no, I'm sitting out. You know what I mean? Like, I can play it now.
I mean, I'll run headlong into a train. I am awful at Tekken. But I see some people playing Tekken, like, let me get into loose for a while.
Right. And I would like to do that for KOF as well. I really would. I would like to do that. In fact, the reason why I didn't really get into Xrd is because the netcode. The reason why I really didn't get into Unist is the netcode, right? I loved Uniel. I talked about Uniel all the time. Like, me and David almost had an inside joke that we would bring up Uniel every Tuesday show for no reason, just because we both loved the game so much. But that's because we were always going to the run back.
I watched it happen.
Yeah.
You definitely did.
And it was because I would go to the run back and I would play Uniel in the tournaments. I got second place in one of the tournaments one time. I lost to Breaker Dave because Breaker Dave is ridiculous at it. But I beat LPT at the time, who was, still second best. And I beat him to get into grand finals. And, like, that was an accomplishment for me because I was constantly playing. I was always playing the game. Because
I kind of wish I was here for that.
Yeah,
because I wasn't in state at the time.
Right. Yeah, you were still in Texas, right? Stationed in Texas. Yeah, and so like I would have done the same thing with Eunice. I would have done something with Xrd if I had the netcode or if I wasn't an introvert, like staying in a house all the time. I mean,
Okay. Also, yeah, I agree. KOF 13 does not need rollback, at least not right now.
No. Leave KOF 13 alone now.
It does not need the resources, and honestly, it's one of those, like, I don't think its player base would increase quite as much, at least not permanently. Like, 02 went up a lot. I think 13 is going to be one of those, people will buy it, and they'll be like, oh man, I heard so much about this. I have to work at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm bad.
KOF 13 is stress. I mean, I couldn't play 13 very well because it was also anti what you're used to mechanically from Street Fighter games too. So like in Street Fighter games, whenever I throw sonic booms, I always do forward back punch. When I do flash kick, I go up down kick, and that doesn't work in KOF games. And like I had to learn new muscle memory to try to play Leona.
Yeah. So I don't think 13 is that hard, but I do agree. I think a lot of it is what James is saying, where if the more used to Street Fighter you are, the harder 13 feels.
Because 13 also has a lot of the things that everyone who's been playing KOF up to that point, I'm like, I can't do this. And like, oh, just make sure you do a half circle back before you do this.
Yeah, there's a lot of cheats and stuff, but it's also because even 13 is one of the last major 2D fighting games that had very little on the input leniency.
Yes.
Like in terms of directions, like the button input leniency is still there,
right.
But in terms of directions, it did not have as much as most games at the time. So if you were playing like Street Fighter 4 and you played 13 felt like a fucking nightmare.
Right.
But if you never played Street Fighter 4 and never let yourself get lazy, then it wasn't a problem.
Right. And I played 14. Now, Sanchez came to my house when the game first came out, and we sat there and played for a long period of time. I played Leona. It was not a problem for me, you know. So I wanted to get good at 14. I wanted to play 14, but there just was no impetus to play it online. You know what I mean?
And
like,
the 13 combo trials are like mostly like just they're memes more than anything.
yeah, but they're fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. For the record, I think O2 UM is one of the hardest KOFs to be good at, even if it has like tighter tiers than some of the other games or less completely broken shit like vanilla O2. Like getting genuinely good at it, learning your way around the top 10 characters, getting good at the quick max in that game, all that shit. I think O2 UM is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
I am ass at that game. Like I picked up O2 UMF, or sorry, 98 UMFE for the first time only a few months ago. And I already feel like I'm way better at that game than O2 UM.
Okay.
I am garbage at O2 UM. Yeah, like I really hate O2 UM having dirty and clean quick maxes. Like it's bullcrap.
What is that? I do agree, but 2002 is so hard that the game is fun without being good. Because the person you play it are also
Okay,
bad.
that's fair. That's fair. But it's like, the thing is, O2 UM, I feel like if you are really trying with characters you like and someone just picks Hinako and does palms, you're gonna die.
Hey, that sounds like Third Strike Chan.
I will take Third Strike Chan.
Yeah, I know. God, that's
Fucking
terrible.
hate O2 UM Hinako so much.
Oh my god.
And the thing is, she's not even considered an S tier. She's A+. She's one of the most gluey fucking characters I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'd like to play a lot of 15. In fact, I even think like I said, on my timeline, there's people arguing about the graphics, and it's like, oh, this graphics is terrible. It's PS3 graphics, and I was like, dude, the graphics are fine.
Okay,
dude.
first off, go back and play a PS3 game, you piece of crap. Secondly, I can't get over this thing where if something is not perfect, then it's shit.
Right.
Can't things be pretty good? Is nothing allowed to be pretty good or okay, kind of nice? I like this. No, it's a 10 or it's a 2. That's it.
I mean, that's how movie reviews and everything always are. If you look at IMDb ratings, movies are... The curve is always like that.
It's one of the great internet problems that we've had since like the early 2000s.
I mean, Yelp is a problem for that reason too, right? Like nobody can actually give Yelp.
Oh man, what was it? I saw the greatest post on Twitter the other day. It was something like Rollback Netcode's so good that white people even voted it good on Yelp.
What?
Yeah, I was like, wow.
All right, you're allowed to say that.
Yeah. I thought it was funny as shit.
I'm not allowed to repeat that. But I mean, like, even like...
You know what, James? We need to have a code for any time you need to yell fucking white people. You can just, like, point at me and I'll say it for you.
No. I'm staying far away from that, dude. Staying far away from that. But I mean, even like when you look at the screenshot here, the screenshot doesn't look bad at all. And like I said, again, the material on all the clothes is always really good. Like you can tell her clothes are a little shiny.
I mean, and she's one of the characters I've said is like one of your waifus, you just don't know it yet. I think you're gonna find her pretty fascinating.
Okay.
I respect that.
But like I said, the thing is, it's cell shaded. It's more cell shaded than normal. And so a lot of people, they're expecting Tekken. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, to be fair, even Soul Calibur 5.
I mean, that person gets it.
Yeah, Kim's pants.
No,
no glasses, no waifu. Yeah, that's true.
No, I just need to commission art from somebody of just Chizuru with glasses.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to be done.
I mean, for me, went from like...
Yeah, it's so funny because she's designed to be a thirst trap, but it had no effect on you until she put on shades. Not even glasses, but shades.
And shout outs to Wonder Chef's tweet. You saw that one.
Which
you
one?
were the one that tagged me in it.
Probably.
The one that was
how's she going to pressure people?
How is she going to apply pressure if even her glasses are minus frames?
Hell yeah, I tagged you in that.
It was so amazing. I was like, okay, well done, Wonder Chef. Well done. But I mean, that's just the thing. Is like, if you look at Soul Calibur, I've always thought Soul Calibur 5 graphics are kind of subpar a little bit too. They're not perfect. You know what I mean? Soul Calibur 6 I'm sorry.
That's because it's just 5 slightly upgraded.
Right, exactly. And
But the thing is that if you go back to when like 5 launched, it looked fantastic.
Right. But the thing is, like, we'll give Soul Calibur that pass because it doesn't have this reputation already. You know what I mean? People are doing this to KOF15 because KOF14. You know, that's the worst part about
hot shit, yeah.
Right. You know, people are going to make fun of it because it's a trend now.
I mean, I give Soul Calibur a pass because the character creator. So if you make everything look too good, the character creator is probably going to suffer for it, and vice versa.
Dude, I just watched an entire match of Party Wolf Killick versus Rikuto's Astaroth, and his Astaroth was a giant bee with goat legs.
Fair.
And I'm just like, what am I watching?
Yeah, I literally have no idea what you're talking about 14's characters not working.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, honestly, overall, 14 is like my second favorite roster in any KOF.
Really?
It has it has like all the characters I care about except like Duel On.
Yeah, but
And the thing is, like, current version of 14 is still surprisingly decent. It may not be the most balanced, but it did pretty well.
In a series where 95 exists.
Okay, real talk. We don't talk about KOF balance 96 on back at all, and we talk about 97 kind of jokingly.
Right.
Yeah, I love Shen, but like Duel On is going to take priority. My biggest problem is the fact they can't make Ramon good ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, he's barely been good, and like he is such garbage.
Yeah,
almost
and
every
actually,
game.
Wiki HL's point is so on point too as well, because Marvel 3 still looks good.
Dude, you know what game was designed with exactly this point in mind? World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
It's like literally the smartest thing about that whole game is having a dumb cartoony art style because it can age forever.
Right.
It's fine.
And Marvel 3 still looks great. And objectively speaking, Marvel 3's models are a lot weaker than MVCI's models. They have less polygons, less detail, less bump mapping, whatever you want to say about it. KOF 15 looking like this will age better than them trying to do something crazy realistic, for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, if you really want to talk shit, I'll be the one to say it. As one of the greatest defenders of that game, I think this looks better than MVCI.
Oh, yeah.
I will say it.
Oh, yeah.
I defend MVCI way too often, and y'all can fuck off. This game looks better than MVCI. This game looks...
Oh, yeah. I mean, look.
The game certainly has better lighting.
All I need to do is...
Yeah, no, Ramon is fucking garbage. No, actually,
all I have to do
Antonov's
is
fine,
this,
right?
And you're gonna tell me that you're gonna tell me MVCI looks better than this? We've seen Chun's face.
Why does it always have to come back to her face, man? Why can't you at least make it like Spencer teeth?
Okay, Spencer teeth. We've seen Spencer. We've seen Dante face. Okay, Chris face. Okay, like clearly this is better.
Poor Dante looks like he's having a stroke, man.
Dante looks like he's been smoking for like 60 years. I mean, seriously, he does not look good. Yeah, I mean, you look at this.
And I'm not even sure this is her best angle either. Like, there are a couple of shots in here. She looks fucking...
I mean, here's the thing, right? And again, because of the cell shadiness, because of the cartoon look to it, this will age well. You know what I mean? This
is going to look fine for years.
Mm-hmm. Honestly.
Because, I mean, honestly, even in the same point, KOF 14...
I don't know why the sentence Hager looks like meat just made me laugh.
KOF 14, I don't think has aged badly. I think it's in exactly the same level where, like, you know, you look at games now and you look back at 14 and it doesn't look worse.
Yeah.
Because it has a similar direction.
Right. Like I said, my biggest complaint graphically about KOF 15 is going to be the animations. I do feel like the animations are a little floaty, but they're reusing a lot of animations from 14 right now. Chizuru looks a little better than some of the other characters, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just like from a standpoint of just playing a game like this, I think the game is going to look fine for...
And 15 Iori will continue to be sexy for years to come. You are damn right.
That's why he has the sexy saxophone.
All day.
I mean, that jacket looks good. I mean, it just looks good. So
I swear to God, like one of these days, we're gonna have to just brand that of sexy saxophone, and just have like a little crescent moon, just sexy saxophone, and and that's it. I need to make this sticker.
Maybe that should be our SNKronize logo. We should actually make it 2 saxophones upside down that makes a heart. So it's like sexy saxophone, dude. Like that's the SNKronize logo now. I think this has to happen now.
This is fantastic.
I think we need to do that now. That's our logo, dude. Is the sexy saxophone. Oh god. Oh god, what is this? Is there already a logo like that in existence or something? Oh yeah.
The 14 memes.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah, beta 14 was pretty rough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's really worth noting is that SNK was way behind the fucking curve on 3D. And how far they've come in this short amount of time is actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a lot from Samurai Showdown to thank for that.
Yeah,
and even
largely, but I mean, because it went to 14, and we also had like heroines,
Yeah,
and then it's like Unreal, getting better at it. Okay, and so they had to learn so many lessons, like back to back to back to back.
Right.
That getting to this point is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, and I will always prefer a game trying to have stylistic look to it than trying to be realistic. So
Yeah, the jump from 14 to Samsho is actually pretty fucking fantastic.
I mean, Samsho looks good. I don't care what people say. I think Samsho looks really good.
I mean, you can play some shenanigans with like some of the lighting and texturing effects, but that's also kind of the beauty of having good direction. Is that, if your models aren't perfect, but you direct everything well around it, nobody's gonna fucking mind.
Right,
exactly.
It's great. And I mean, like I said, there's nothing to do except say MVC3. Everybody still thinks that game looks amazing. There's not a single, there's no point where you look at that game where you're like, this game has actually aged poorly. It's kind of ugly now. It's still fucking gorgeous, dude. That game.
The fact that even the backgrounds are aging well is ridiculous.
Yeah, and so Marvel 3 is, 10 years from now, Marvel 3 will still look kind of cool. 10 years from now, MVCI is going to look like hot garbage. You know what I mean? It's just the truth. It's the sad truth, because they went for a realistic look in MVCI, and it hurt it. It hurt it.
Yeah. There are so many decisions about that game that I still wonder who was in charge of that decision.
Yeah. And I do agree with what somebody said earlier about hoping that SNK also does a better job with the menus, because if we get another character select that's like Samurai Showdown, I'm gonna break a blood vessel. So.
I mean, the thing is, look at 14s. 14s worked fine, and half of it wasn't planned in advance.
Right. I'm just excited because, like I said, if I ever made a new rival schools, I've always said that I would force them into the schools and stuff like that. There's something for me just
the joy of playing a canon team.
Just being able to see the menu screen and seeing the Sacred Treasures team in a box, in that row, will just make me happy. Honestly. Yep, they did. They did. Street Fighter V, there was that one screen cap of a realistic looking Bison and a realistic looking Ryu, and it looked so awkward and kind of gross. So yeah, absolutely. And that's why they said that in Street Fighter 4 everybody's hands are so big.
Oh yeah,
because it makes it easier to follow,
to read it. Yeah.
And it was
I mean, I had the same argument just talking about Leona's reveal in this.
Right. Yeah.
Because everyone was joking about her hands. I was like, good, you know where they are.
Right. And I mean, I had that same conversation, like I said, with Redacted on Skullgirls early on reading the animations and stuff like that.
And it's not even just animation, because you can use similar effects for comic books. Joe Madureira makes his character's hands fucking gigantic because it's a stylistic choice for power. Yeah. And it works.
Even to the point where the animation I was given, which was Cerebella's Crouching Heavy Punch, is the exact same animation that Kino Cakes used at her GDC talk, where she was talking about how the animation works and how the animation snap. Because the first time I got Cerebella's animation, it was just punch, equal frames the whole way through. And I was like, this is never going to work. I was like, you have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and stuff like that. Oh, what's up? I mentioned you earlier, Nothing XS.
Yeah, we were talking about you earlier. Also, for the record, I don't understand people who get up in arms about who's the leader of a team. I mean, yes, Chizuru is the leader of this team because she's the only one who can force those two to work together. But,
All right, what's your shit post? I'm not going to throw it onto the screen right away, but I'm going to...
I do appreciate asking for permission, though. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but admittedly, though, I mean, thanks to this picture, I mean, I feel like Chizuru has to be the leader, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no, she definitely is in this case.
just based on that picture alone.
All right, let's see what we got.
All right. I'm just going to come over here and paste this in. What do we got here?
Oh, yeah, this one's pretty great.
Uh-oh.
I've actually watched this. This is pretty great.
Oh, okay. Okay, what is this? What is this?
It's a pretty good video talking about Street Fighter V's new animations. Yeah, go ahead and give it the audio.
All right. Fair. Okay.
I love the way that Kyo is lined up in the bottom right corner, though. Actually lines up really well with Street Fighter V's UI.
Nicely done. Oh man, oh god, it's so funny because like in the game that I play, Final Fantasy Record Keeper, one of the characters in there like does Nash's super, like that exact same thing.
I expect you to die, Mr. Bond.
Yeah, well, he just like he hits you, dashes through you, then jumps above him and goes with a big old fireball, and I was like, what the heck? Oh man. Oh yeah, that's right. Someone was talking. Well, I don't want to get DMCA'd, so I don't want to play any of the tracks or anything like that. Just
Tracks from.
They said they had the Sacred Treasures theme out now or something like that. So I'll save it for later maybe. So we'll see.
I mean, you better believe I'm gonna blast that the moment we're done with this stream. You're gonna be like, be excellent to each other. Just going
I
off.
know, right?
Hi. Yeah, it's still driving me nuts that I cannot remember explicitly what that picture is from.
Which one?
The Kyo.
Oh.
Because, like, I mean, I definitely had the ongoing joke with me and my friends of just yelling, hey, you guys from the Goonies. Because there was always this picture of him, like, coming out of a circle. I think it was, like, advertising just, like, one of the SNK fan clubs or something. And I could not track down where I first saw it from for the life of me.
So, Andres says that it is from KOF 95 promotional material.
95 promotional material.
Okay, yeah.
But, like, I can't find the explicit original, because I got the one from one of the art books, and even the freaking art book is not even labeled as being from 95.
Right.
It's driving me nuts.
It's funny.
But man, the amount of shit that I have been finding lately, digging down like giant rabbit holes, and preservation, has been kind of remarkable. I also finally got to live a lifelong dream, or at least a 20-year-long dream. You remember J2ME, the JavaScript for like mobile phones?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So there was a KOF Gals like summer sports game. It was just like swimming and like long jump and diving boards, and it was like the cutest little fucking thing.
It was extreme volleyball for KOF, basically.
Except it was like on mobile phones in like the late 90s.
Oh god, okay.
And I've been wanting to play it since forever because it's a game with Mary in it. And like you can find the sprite sheets of it, but you cannot fucking play the game. I finally actually got a J2ME emulator running just enough that I finally got to play it even a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it runs like crap.
Oh, dang.
But I actually
Dude,
got to try
you gotta
it.
talk to Andres then, because he seems kind of hype about this.
Yeah, the hardest part is getting a good J2ME emulator. It is a freaking nightmare.
Oh, not for you? Okay.
Like, if someone can help me dig into the Git repo and actually help me get one of the better emulators running, I'd be appreciative.
Okay.
And, yeah, we can definitely get this thing running. Yo, when is KOF for girls, by the way?
That's funny.
But, yeah, it's got, like, it's like Cham Cham, Kula, Iroha, Mary, Mai... And
God, this is the
one more.
This is the SNK heroines before SNK heroines.
Way back, yeah.
Oh man. That's
It's
so funny.
super funny. Like, I could definitely like dig up some of the sprite sheets. They're hilarious.
Yeah, DNO definitely likes to play dank stuff.
Yeah,
so.
if he's got a good J2ME emulator, fucking have him get in touch with me, because the only one I've got that I got running at all is on Android, and it runs like dog shit. Dude, Heroines was godlike. Like, I mean, say what you will about the theming, because I'm going to gloss over that because I know how James feels about it.
Yeah.
The game was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they just let Neo G do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, unfortunately, the theming is the reason why I didn't play the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is there any content you would recommend to help learn? KOF just feels very different than anything I've played.
There's a lot.
A lot of people in the chat will probably be able to help you, and in fact, Katy Perry
the
already
Dandy J.
yelling about Dandy J tutorials here. So
like almost copy pasta right there.
yeah, I know, right? Everyone's talking.
Dude,
there you go.
You know, I'm kind of down to watch it on stream later.
Next week. Let's do it next week. Let's do it
Next week after the reveal trailer, we'll all watch it together.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Because I would say also it might be a good idea to ping Dandy J and
Oh, yeah,
make sure, like,
yeah.
would it be cool if we did this?
Can you ask him? Can you ask him?
I don't know.
I don't know him either.
I'm just saying it's something we should do. Like, I'll get in touch. Or...
Anybody here knows Dandy J? Like,
Thank
Andres will ask him.
Thank
There
you.
you go. There you go. Yes,
Yeah,
please ask
you can ping
him.
him, make sure that's cool, get him in touch with one of us or whatever.
Yeah,
like, because that would be a great thing to do.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just let us know, Andres, and yeah, I mean, probably a good time also just to call us,
it a
because we've
night.
been going 3 hours now basically. So
Well, I mean, we had a little presentation.
yeah.
Plus, we had to go through Chizuru. Plus, we had to talk about Rollback.
Yeah. No, for
We
sure.
went in. I mean, you know, this is how we make up for not getting a new trailer, is we create more content.
Oh man. But it's cool just to talk about all this. Is there a quiz next week? Yeah, pretty much. What is the name of the sacred treasures of...
Yeah, good luck.
Oh man, quiz of fighters.
I need to own that. There's like a KOF quiz somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Quiz and dragons and stuff like that. So yeah, but there you go. Actually, what I'll probably do is I'll just try to throw this onto YouTube, this episode onto YouTube, and then I'll probably just kind of put the old ones on there.
Sounds
just so
good.
people know what's good. So I put the one that's most relevant and recent, and then we'll just go from there. So I'll try to remember to throw this onto YouTube later tonight.
And I'll start evaluating saxophones.
I'm definitely making the 2 upside down saxophone logo, dude. Sexy saxophone for the SNKronize logo. I mean, people wonder what the hell's going on with it, but it's such an inside joke that I think it's kind of amazing, to be honest with you. I'll talk to Auric about it too, because he's good at making logos. So I'll see, because he'll be able to come up with the good fonts and stuff like that and everything. So, but at least we have an aim now.
Yeah, we have some new jokes and posts.
We should make a sexy saxophone, but in the middle is Kyo coming.
You couldn't resist it, could you?
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, well, that's cool, Andres. I'm glad. I mean, thank Olaf. He's the one who kind of was like, let's do this for every reveal. And I was like, sure.
Well, because it was basically like, let's do this for the first one, and it wound up just being fun and being a good idea, and we've been trying to get this, you know, the synchronized project off the ground, and it all just kind of works together.
And, you know, it's fun to go off track a lot of the times,
yeah.
too, because we just end up talking about whatever. But that's what podcasts are. Like, if a podcast stays on topic the entire time, it's a
little robotic.
There's 2 kinds of podcasts. There's the ones that are very serious, and you want them to do that. Then there's the podcast where people are just chilling.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, say what you will. I don't really want to sound like NPR.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Although, who was the one who came up with a presentation and slides? No, just kidding.
You right. No, that's actually the only one I've actually gotten so far, because it's the one I felt the need to play. Right. Because it was a game that had Mary that I didn't own and hadn't played. Right. Like, I bought the fucking Days of Memories collection for DS because Mary's in one of them.
Yeah, dude, just contact each other on Twitter, dude. Just ping each other on Twitter. He's Olaf Redland. He's nothing. You guys know each other, dude. Just like talk to each other, dude. It's all good. So, but yeah. I guess what we can do then. God, did I save it onto my disc? Or did I save it somewhere here? I remember there was something I wanted to save. What is this? No, that's the season pass.
No, man, my DMs are open. It's all good.
Let's go to the desktop. Slide into those DMs. There we go. What's up?
Nothing. Just slide.
All right.
Oh yeah, the image that we have to really build up a little more.
This is going to be my my closing image here. I'll have to have this all ready to go all the time. Actually, I should probably do it the other way too. I should probably do it.
It should just be as like its own scene, shouldn't
it?
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah, exactly. So here we go.
Yeah, the Days of Memories games got ported onto DS, so you can just get the import version of those.
Can I set this to full screen?
I mean, theoretically.
Set as no.
Oh no, not like that. But there's a I think there's a way to like hide the borders.
I don't like this new.
Yeah,
what
no,
happened to
it's
the
not
old
great.
image viewer, dude?
You get slideshow.
Slideshow. Okay,
That might
there
work.
you go. There you go. Okay, that's what we can do there.
That's good enough.
They're slideshowing all of the pictures on my desktop.
Not go to Yuki boobs.
Yeah, not that. I mean, that's probably about the most crazy thing that you'll see on there. But there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching, and don't forget to stay safe out there. Listen to your sexy saxophone music out there. Social distance. Wear your masks, and Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter. Be excellent to each other. Anything you want to say?
Nothing you haven't already said.
All right.
Oh, hashtag SNK Rollback.
Hashtag SNK Rollback, and party on, dudes. And we'll see you next week for some more synchronized SNK talk. Peace. Play sexy saxophone.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes!